If you've ever wanted to buy a mega yacht that was once owned by a Russian oligarch, apparently you can do that right now. But also go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It is the day before Jackson Hole. Might we even call it Jackson Hole Eve? I don't know. I know it starts today, but the real big thing is happening tomorrow. And it does seem like the market is kind of waiting for that. It seems like it's been kind of doing that all week. I know we rolled over yesterday. We're going to talk about all of that, where the market is, what's going on. We got a light news flow day here today. It is my synthetic Friday, so I am absolutely stoked and I'm ready to go. Benzinga's pre-market playbook for Thursday, August 21st starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful Wednesday. Go Cubs for beating the Brewers 3 games in a row now. We absolutely needed that. And hopefully you're having a great morning here today. We've got some market action to go through. We got a little bit of news to go through, and then we've got some trading to do here before the start of Jackson Hole. And it is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. Brent, first again. Someone else has got to beat Brent here. His first couple of days in a row. I think this might be our first repeat first person here. Anyway, good morning, Brent. Marty, good morning. The tech sector was really targeted yesterday, and now we have to hear Powell's nonsense on Friday. Yes, I'm afraid that is the case. We are going to have to hear that here. We'll see how much pressure is on the tech sector. We talked a little bit yesterday about Palantir and NVIDIA, really kind of their charts really kind of changing. Breaking below the 20, Palantir tested the 50. So a lot of stuff out there. In tech land that doesn't look as great, and that's obviously been the leader here. Good morning, Florida Yacht Insurance Guy. What do you think about that mega yacht that they're auctioning off? Chuck, good morning. Hoot, good morning. Zach, good morning. Big Dave, good morning. Sassy Butterfly Chick, good morning. Producers locked in and ready to go. Corey, good morning. Brandy, good morning. Roostam, good morning. It's good to see you again. Love the it's not M Power, it's M Life, Zach. But yeah, it's awesome. That M Performance division of BMW is fantastic. Mike, good morning. Joseph, good morning. Day Trader, good morning. Jane, good morning. Cad Monkey, good morning. Big Abees, welcome back, man. You've been absolutely killing it. Javon, it's great to see you again. Welcome back. Maverick, welcome back. Yes, go Cubs. Oh, man. I thought they were going to blow the game at the end. I was like, oh, my God, they're going to lose this game. And then they didn't. And I was excited about that. AG, good morning. How is it in Florida? We're finally getting some temperate weather here in the Midwest, which is really welcomed, especially after how hot it's been, and then also being in the South. Let me know how the weather is out there. JJ, good morning. It's good to see you again. Crispy Biscuit, good morning as always. Dirkus, good morning. Cam, good morning. Paulo, good morning. All right, folks, we are off. Let's go ahead and get this baby started here today. We're going to start with the SPY, as we always do. And as mentioned, now, a couple of things. So I kind of floated a hypothetical yesterday about the market really trying to take a good morning, Zoo and AC. I was making a case that there might be one more move up here before we roll over and then really make a more pronounced down move. I understand it's felt weaker the last couple of days, but I mean, let's take a step back and look at where we're at. We had a high print here of 646.09. We are currently at 636. So we've really lost 10 SPY points, and in a percentage basis, it's like 3%. It's like nothing. It's like nothing. We're really not down a whole lot. So when we start talking about a weak month in September, or perhaps another correction before we get to the holiday season or late fall, I think it's important to remember where we've come from and how far we can actually fall. If we did sell off through September and we traded all the way down to like 593 or 592 and a half, where the 200-day is, that wouldn't even really be terrible. In the moment, it's going to feel like it sucks, though. So, again, just trying to keep everyone grounded here. Market doesn't go straight up. Stonks don't only go up. And at some point here, we're going to have a correction, and that should be great for us, to be quite honest with you. And so I'm kind of looking for those signs here. Now, yesterday, when we were on the show, it was pretty much just weakness right out of the open. Now, it did start to turn around, and then by the time the show ended, we actually kept trading up the rest of the day, and we ended up basically flat. We were down a little bit, but really, really not that much. And then on the daily chart, as you see here for SPY, it looks like we peaked under the 20-day moving average and then recaptured it same day. Now, today, no surprise, we're riding this very same line. So I know I sound like a broken record, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sure things will change here, but right away, key level here is going to be this 20-day moving average. Are we able to hold above this? If so, my call is that we trade higher, but do not set a new all-time high. This gives us a lower high, and that then is when we roll over. This might coincide with NVIDIA's earnings, which we get next week. And then obviously we have the seasonality backdrop that we have been observing and pretty much following. I know that yesterday, the candle formation, or the candle pattern, I should say, that we have been talking about, that did get broke. We've now have 2 red candles in a row as opposed to alternating. But again, still felt kind of choppy. We were weak in the morning, and then we were strong pretty much for the rest of the afternoon, or we rallied at least in the rest of the afternoon, and we came in about unchanged. So I still think the August choppy seasonality is here, and we are still looking for a poor seasonality or a negative move or a down move in the market into September. The question is, does it finish in September, or does it bottom in early or mid-October? That's what I'm going to be looking at. We take a look at the Qs here. Qs looks actually a little bit worse, right? You were just talking about tech being weak the last couple of days. Well, tech had already broken under the 20-day. We didn't just peak below. And despite the rally back yesterday that we saw, we actually didn't have the strength to recapture this 20-day. So this too, 569.5, this is going to be an important level. We're at 564. We'll see if tech firms up at all. You can see that the candle almost tested that 50-day. We didn't quite get there. So part of me thinks that, an actual test of this 50-day moving average is up next, or is likely going to be happening here. If we break that 50, all bets are off. Maybe we do move to the 200 on both the SPY and the Qs. We also, yesterday, we took a look at the IWM. We'll do that again here today. We talked about this pulling back to the breakout level. Look where we're at. We're basically right at that breakout level, and it did test the 20-day, and it held. So again, maybe we'll see a continued rotation out of tech and mega cap tech into some smaller names. Again, I think long term, this is actually going to be great for us. This is actually going to be great for us. We want to see this rotation. Raffle saying rotation A. I'm not sure what rotation A means, but rotation, yes, this is exactly what we want to see. Okay, let's go run through some of the news here. Like I said, it's kind of light here today, so we'll definitely going to be taking a look at a bunch of charts here. Hopefully 13 got up early this morning. We have no guest. We'll see if Markets and Mayhem is available today. I did email him, but with me traveling, I'm just unsure if he's available. The invite is out. So if he is free, we'll get him on here. The 3-day Jackson Hole Economic Symposium begins today. Brrr. All right, let's go. With the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's speech expected tomorrow on Friday, the theme for the 2025 symposium is labor markets in transition, demographics, productivity, and macroeconomic policy. Meanwhile, President Trump intensified his campaign to reshape the Federal Reserve on Wednesday, demanding that Governor Lisa Cook resign over mortgage fraud allegations while the Justice Department reviews the case. Trump wrote, "Cook must resign now" on Truth Social. Let's see how this plays out. Basically, what's going on here is that in a very short amount of time, she claimed 2 different mortgages as her primary residence, which is absolutely, in fact, illegal. I think there are a couple of carve-outs for that, depending on specific situations. But this actually is a crime, and this does carry consequences for it. And it looks like that's what this is about. Obviously, the big thing here is this political and all of that. Let's see how it shakes out here. I don't want to make any early calls on this. And frankly, I really don't think this affects us. I think whatever Powell says tomorrow is going to be far, far more important. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.3%, and the 2-year bond yielded 3.76%. Ryan Dietrich from Carson Research highlighted in his mid-year earnings recap report that, quote, nearly 60% of companies have raised their forward guidance for full-year EPS, something nearly unthinkable earlier this year when companies were withdrawing guidance completely in the wake of the tariff tantrum. Remember, there were some companies that instead of withdrawing guidance were actually giving 2 sets of guidance. And now it looks like we are on a course correct here. Abi, good morning. Yassine, good morning. John, good morning. Brian, good morning. Wiss, good morning. Angelica and Tyler, good morning. Raffle and Harley, if I didn't say good morning, good morning. Okay. In a recent mid-year earnings recap, Grant Engelbart, Vice President and Investment Strategist at Carson Investment Research, concluded that the second quarter earnings season for 2025 draws to a close. A clear picture has emerged. Corporate America is thriving. His analysis highlights that despite economic uncertainties, S&P 500 companies have delivered a remarkably solid set of results fueled by the artificial intelligence boom and supported by broad-based strength. A standout feature of the quarter, Engelbart notes, was the sheer number of companies that surpassed analyst forecasts. According to data from S&P Global cited in his report, a remarkable 78% of S&P 500 companies beat their earnings per share estimates. Now, it is important to note there, just kind of playing devil's advocate here to make sure we get both sides. The bar for these earnings was lowered substantially. It was absolutely lowered substantially. So, if you want to think, well, okay, they're beating lowered results, you'd be right about that. But they're still beating, and they're still doing it at a really good clip. Where I lost my train of thought there. Sorry about that. Engelbart emphasized that this is an above-average figure and adds that the magnitude of these beats were also significant, with companies expanding their EPS estimates by more than 8% on average. So once again, it looks like this policy that had everybody in a tussle, not ruining everything. How about that? How about that? The report shows that overall S&P earnings jumped more than 11%, marking the third consecutive quarter of double-digit earnings growth. While the Mag 7 made a large contribution, the analysis emphasizes that the median stock in the index posted a very healthy 8% year-over-year earnings growth. Finally, Engelbart concludes his analysis by pointing to a key trend for investors. The market is becoming increasingly favorable for active management. You know who that's good for? All of us. All of us who are active on a regular basis, all of us who pay attention to what's going on and are thinking critically about how we can take advantage of that, we are going to benefit. And that's awesome to hear. He explains that with the average correlation between individual stocks near historic lows and stock dispersion on the rise, the current environment creates ample opportunity for skilled stock pickers to find winning companies beyond the biggest names. And you know where I am right now? That's right. I am in a group with skilled stock pickers. So again, this is all just really good news. As far as I'm concerned, I think that this is going to benefit us. All of that. I'm excited, and I really do hope that whatever correction, drawdown, pullback, whatever you call it, if we do in fact get that, I am just really hoping that sets up an excellent opportunity for our community. All right. I did actually want to get to some Louis Navellier quotes here. I'll queue up the next story here, but I did want to mention a couple of things to you here. These are quotes from Louis Navellier. Really want to thank Zoltan for going ahead and I tell you what, Zoltan has really been outdoing himself. The entire 2025 is a testament to how awesome our news team is, and particularly Zoltan, who's really, really gone after some really cool stuff. I got a couple of quotes here that I want to read you from Louis Navellier. President Trump is still using tariffs to conduct foreign policy, which is probably why Vladimir Putin suddenly wants to have a ceasefire, since the U.S. is threatening new sanctions on Russia and its trading allies like Brazil, China, and India. The bottom line is that if there is an agreement for a ceasefire, the stock market could rally on the anticipation of a potential peace dividend. Now, we talked a little bit about this the last couple of days. the end of this war should bring a positive market reaction. I think we tried to talk about different sectors that might help here. A peace dividend, though, that would be a little bit more broad-based. The second quote that he had here, the Kansas City Fed conference in Jackson Hole will be big news this week. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is scheduled to speak on Friday, August 22nd, and he will be So it will be interesting to see if he signals an impending key interest rate cut. Since Powell is a lame duck, he will be less influential than past years. Now, this is interesting to me also because we've really kind of been hyping Jackson Hole. Every investor, talking head, trader, really anyone that's involved in the market has their eyes on this. The action here in the market really feels like traders and market participants are waiting for this. So if it's kind of a nothing burger because he's a lame duck, yikes. Kind of floated that the other day in happy hour. And it seems like Louis Navalier's that's good company. That's good company, and I'll take that. The last quote here, this was my favorite. I found this one pretty funny. I hate August due to air pockets and lack of liquidity. Who else has not really cared much for this August? It's really been some of these smaller movers and not much of anything else here. I hate August due to its air pockets and lack of liquidity. We are going to have market shenanigans, such as this week's mean reversion, until mid-September, until the Fed cuts rates. So inherent in there is that he definitely thinks a rate cut is coming in September, thinks that the market will respond positively to that. And in the meantime, boy, we're kind of in no man's land. So really good stuff there from Louis Navalier. Again, Zoltan, if you're out there, shout out to you. Okay, next thing here, Mohamed El-Erian making some news that I did not think he was going to make, to be quite honest with you. Renowned economist Mohamed El-Erian, who often appears on CNBC, by the way, on Thursday reiterated his call for Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell to resign, arguing that it is a necessary step to protect the central bank's independence from political pressure ahead of the pivotal Jackson Hole symposium. My knee-jerk reaction to this is that is such a weak mindset that I can't even relate to it. If your institution is supposed to be independent and you can't take a couple of barbs from someone that's a known blowhard, are you really the best person for that job? Don't need to answer that. I'm asking rhetorically. It's just, I don't think that I agree with El-Erian here. I don't think that he needs to resign. I get it. If you had told me, well, he's a lame duck, he should resign, I think that's even a better argument. But even still, I think Powell should finish off his term here. It's only till May. It's going to take time for any rate cuts that he makes to bleed through the system anyway. To me, this is a non-issue. But anyway, speaking on Fox Business, Allianz chief economic advisor stated that Powell has become a political target and his continued presence only invites further criticism that damages the institution. I would disagree with that. I don't think the institution is damaged at all, to be quite honest with you. If it's damaged, it's because of its own actions. It's not because of some smack talk that's going on. That's patently absurd, frankly. I said Chair Powell should, quote from El-Erian, I said Chair Powell should resign because the longer he stays there, the more he attracts attacks on the institution, end quote. This stance doubles down on a position he Am I here? Can you guys see me? Did I drop there? Producer, can you let me know what's going on? Are we good? Is everything good? It just said that I was trying to reconnect. Yeah, lol rip. Drop for a second, but I'm back now. Okay, well, we're just gonna roll right through it. We don't get shook by problems here. Not this group. This stance doubles down on a position he first articulated on social media on X on July 22nd when he wrote, quote, if Chair Powell's objective is to safeguard the Fed's operational autonomy, which I deem vital, then he should resign, end quote. Okay. Look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I respectfully disagree with this one. Beyond the institutional risks, El-Erian argued that the Fed is making a policy error by being overly captive to data dependency. Now that might be something where he's hitting the nail on the head, which he described as backward looking. Despite a recent producer price index report coming in hotter than expected, he believes a September rate cut is warranted. Oh, how about that? How about that? Cam says you just pulled a Batman and disappeared. You know what would have been sick, Cam? If I had thrown a smoke bomb down and you saw smoke fill the camera and then I just wasn't here anymore. That'd be sick. Maybe I'll work on that. Maybe I'll see about throwing smoke bombs in my house. Just kidding. Every indicator suggested the labor market is weaker, and the risk is it weakens in accelerated fashion, suggesting a decisive 50 basis point cut could be necessary if another weak employment report emerges. How about that? The 3-day economic symposium begins today, Thursday, August 21st, and will go on till Saturday, August 23rd. The theme for the 2025 symposium is labor markets in transition, demographics, productivity, and macroeconomic policy. So we'll see what happens here with all of this. Like I said, I don't think he needs to do this. I think, frankly, my own personal opinion, I do agree that Powell made some mistakes. And we had a really good discussion yesterday about if Powell left today, what would his legacy be? And I struggle to say that his legacy would be anything other than being too late. And I know because that's what Trump calls him, I know what that sounds like, but that's the reality. He definitely was too late in raising interest rates. And now it does appear, especially by some other than Trump too, by the way, that he's in fact too late. I think he should finish out his term, and I think his entire term should be looked at in its totality. We need more data. I don't think that this is a failure. I don't like either of the extreme positions on this. He's not the worst Fed president ever. He's not the greatest Fed president ever. He doesn't need to be fired. He doesn't need to resign. Let's just see how this all shakes out. It's going to take time. He's set to leave anyway. All of this just kind of seems like bluster that we don't really need, to be quite honest with you. Just my own opinion. Market doesn't care about my opinion, so I'm gonna trade whatever we do anyway. But just anyway. All right, Fed minutes. Recently released minutes from the Federal Reserve July meeting confirms that officials favoring a tough stance on inflation remain in control. So here we are talking about potential rate cuts. Are we going to get one in September? This, that, and the other. Telling you that officials favor the toughening stance on inflation. They remain in control, opting to hold interest rates steady as they monitor the economic impact of the tariffs. A majority of the committee's participants judged that the upside risk to inflation was the greater of its two primary risks. This hawkish position comes as external pressures from trade policy continue to complicate the economic outlook. According to one analyst, tariffs are a primary factor keeping the inflation top-tier concern for the central bank. So this brings up another interesting point. If the tone tomorrow from Powell's speech is hawkish, I do think you're going to get a market sell-off. I think initially the market is definitely going to move down. Now, for how long is that going to last? Your guess is as good as mine. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But I do think if we get a hawkish tone, not going to be all that great. Also, we took a look into performance of the market after the Jackson Hole Symposium, and it's not great. It's really not great. That alongside the backdrop of a weak September, I think the market normally moves down a little bit and then goes sideways, and then it picks a direction. Well, with the seasonality backdrop, that direction might be down. So if this is hawkish, maybe we start that a little sooner. Quote, inflation remains at the front burner of Fed officials as tariffs still pose a risk to the economy and pick up in inflation. That came from Eric Thiel, Chief Investment Officer for Comerica Wealth Management. Thiel noted that the effective tariff rate on imports rose to about 16% in August. This sentiment is mirrored in the Fed's internal discussion, where participants observed that, quote, disinflation appears to have stalled, with tariffs putting upward pressure on goods price inflation, end quote. The decision to keep the federal funds rate in a target range of 4.25 to 4.5 was not unanimous, revealing a growing split within the committee. Governors Bowman and Waller, both voted against the decision, preferring to lower interest rates to the target range by 25 basis points. Their position aligns with recent demands from President Trump, who has criticized the central bank on social media for hurting the housing industry, insisting that, quote, there is no inflation, and calling for a major rate cut. Now, Trump calling for, I think, like a couple hundred bips total. I think Besant called for a 50 bips. I don't think any of that is necessary, nor do I think that's going to happen. I do think, however, we're going to get a 25 bips cut. The majority view prevailed. Chris Zaccarelli, Chief Investment Officer of Northlight Asset Management, said that the minutes clearly show the Fed didn't cut rates. The decision was made, quote, because the majority of officials thought the risk of higher inflation outweighed the risk of higher unemployment. And we'll see if that changes the next time around. Zaccarelli suggested that Chairman Powell is likely to keep his cards close to his vest at the upcoming Jackson Hole Symposium. And that's what I'm saying. If it's kind of a nothing burger, I think this is kind of what Louis was talking about. This is going to be a less impactful Jackson Hole than previous years. Emphasizing that the Fed remains data dependent and will need to see key jobs and inflation reports before making its next move. The 3-day economic symposium begins today and finishes on Saturday. Okay. Let's break up some of this news. I know we've been crushing that for a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about CoreWeave, shall we? Let's do it. Here is your CoreWeave chart. So we've made a pretty substantial move down. And I think the question that everyone has for CoreWeave, if you're trading it, did we put it in near-term bottom? Did we put in a support level? Where's the next move here? We're actually slightly below the 200-day. Actually, the 20-day. We're actually a little bit more than that. 20-day here at 110 3/4. Current price here at 93.65. CoreWeave did catch an upgrade here today. Jane Street took a passive stake in the company, and let me see what that upgrade was. H.C. Wainwright upgrades CoreWeave and announces a $180 price target. That's basically a double from where we're at now. Now let's take a look at the CoreWeave story here. Jane Street took a passive stake in the company. U.S. trading giant Jane Street. Jane, this isn't you, right? Jane Smith, this isn't your company? Just wondering. U.S. trading giant Jane Street purchased approximately 19.95 million shares of CoreWeave as of August 13th, representing a 5.4% stake in the company. That's according to regulatory filings. The news comes with CoreWeave shares well off its 52-week highs of $187 per Benzinga Pro. The stock has been trending lower since late June following a strong run earlier in the year on the heels of the company's March IPO. CoreWeave reported mixed results in the second quarter last week with a revenue of $1.21 billion, beating the estimate, of $1.08 billion, but a quarterly loss of 27 cents per share, missing the estimate of a 17-cent loss. Following CoreWeave's second quarter results, multiple analysts maintain neutral ratings, suggesting CoreWeave shares may be fully valued. CoreWeave provides access to NVIDIA GPUs for large technology and AI-focused companies. Brian here saying, Jane Street, yikes, lol, run. Jane says, nope, that's not hers. That's good. Brandy, I love you. Will always get Brandy. I tell you what, you will always get points on this show for quoting Spinal Tap. Some remind me of this quote. These go to 11. Well, why wouldn't you just keep them at 9 and then go to 10 when you need it? Well, because these go to 11. That is way to put a smile on my face real early here, Brandy. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. Okay. Some of you mentioned, or someone here mentioned NVIDIA earlier. It's always a popular stock. Let's take a look at that. We'll start here with the NVIDIA chart. Okay, chart. You actually have to cooperate if I'm going to be able to show the NVIDIA chart. Thank you for cooperating. We had talked about tech showing a little bit more weakness than perhaps the SPY and NVIDIA and Palantir, the two big ones there. NVIDIA here, we saw on, what day was this? Tuesday, this broke beneath the 20-day. Yesterday, it tried to trade back up. This candle actually looks pretty good. Let's see what we get here today. This is still going to be your key level, 178 3/4 here. Can we get back above this? Can we get back above the 20-day here today? That would be great. Remember, the big event here is going to be the earnings next Wednesday. They happen after the close. 13. I'll ask him if he's got an updated position, but he said that this might be the event that really kind of sends the market down for its corrective phase. We'll see if that's the case. But this is what our chart looks like. I still think that we need a legit test of this 166 level. The 50-day moving average is at 166.29. I really think that 166 level actually needs to get tested. Better still if we peak below and recapture it. NVIDIA's China trouble could spoil Q3 outlook. So we were just talking about some of those earnings there. NVIDIA could potentially guide below Wall Street's expectations for the third quarter, despite the anticipation of strong earnings for the July quarter, and that comes from KeyBank. Now, this is important because the common thread that we have observed in pretty much all of these earnings reports, whether they be big cap tech, small cap companies, or somewhere in the middle, what we have observed is that the guidance rules the day. Good morning, Born. That's a great shirt. I had an M3 when I was in the Army. That's awesome. Some people say I have a fake M car. I have the M Sport car. I have the M550, but it is an absolute monster. It's an absolute monster. And I actually just raced some guy in an M3 the other day. He got gapped. So appreciate that. Good to see you, and looking forward to playing fantasy football this year. Anyway, back to NVIDIA here. KeyBank Capital Markets, in a recent note, predicted that NVIDIA's Q3 guidance could be lower than the consensus due to uncertainties in China. The brokerage noted that NVIDIA's outlook might, quote, exclude direct revenue from China, giving pending license approvals and uncertainty on timing, end quote. If sales from China were included, it could potentially boost revenues by an additional $2 to $3 billion. Despite the U.S. easing some restrictions on AI chips, KeyBank expects NVIDIA to remain cautious. The note also pointed out potential hurdles, including the possible 15% tax on AI exports and Chinese government pressure on AI providers to adopt domestically produced AI chips. Now, we've talked about some of those domestically produced AI chips and how they're actually not that great. DeepSeek can't even release their recent model because the Huawei chips, the domestically produced chips that they use, just simply can't get the job done. So again, we'll see how this all shakes out. That being said, KeyBank pointed to solid fundamental drivers. Quote, GPU supply grew 40% in Q2 and is projected to increase another 20% in Q3 with the ramp of NVIDIA's Blackwell B200. The upcoming Blackwell Ultra B300 chip is scheduled to start shipping in the October quarter, and that could account for half of the total Blackwell deliveries. KeyBank reaffirmed its overweight rating on NVIDIA and increased the price target from $190 to $215. So let me ask just right off the top here, does anyone have a trade plan for NVIDIA? Is anyone planning on trading NVIDIA for this earnings report? Maybe it's just for earnings. Maybe you already have a position that you're swinging into this. You'll have to let me know. I'm curious. I'm curious to know if anyone's trading. This is going to be the biggest earnings print probably of this month, and I'm watching all these earnings print comes in, and I'm watching the majority of them. It's actually the option sellers that are winning, right? The options imply an X% move, and we get less than X% when it's all said and done in the majority of cases. Part of me thinks that's what we're going to see here on NVIDIA, but the other part of me is like, this is easily the most important earnings report, and you should probably have some type of exposure for it. That's what I'm dealing with. I'd love to hear what you folks think about this and how you're actually trading this. Daniel Newman, CEO of Futurum Group, dismissed the idea that China can move on without NVIDIA, citing it next level nonsense. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. So again, it seems like, and then the DeepSeek thing really kind of confirmed that. So it seems like the Chinese need these chips. We'll see how this all shakes out in NVIDIA's earnings report. Again, as mentioned here, it's all going to come down to the guide. It's all going to come down to the guide. Okay. Now, I do have a article here. We've never done anything like this before, but I want to mention this because we're really, really proud of some of these rankings that were that we've introduced into Pro. And so I'm going to give you this. I'm actually going to give you the article itself. You can keep this. You can go through it. Use this as maybe a primer for investigating some of these other companies and see if there is a trade there for you. Big B's. I had the Audi S6 with the V10 beating M5 a time or two, but much respect. Yeah. So those V10 engines, the old, I think like the 2008 M5 has a V10. It's like, it sounds like an F1 car. Like it's absolutely crazy. That's a sweet car. Zach says, I like the M2. I like those smaller, nimble sports sedans, but I wanted something a little bit bigger. I wanted the 5 Series. That's why I went with that. M3 is king. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the article here. Sorry, car guys sometimes get distracted. I'm definitely one of those. Apologize for that. Okay, so some hidden gems here. These are undervalued tech rankings, and the thesis of this article is that these companies have made a pretty significant jump up in their value ranking. So what this with the stocks that are being generated here has to do with the delta in value, and these are positive changes in that metric. So we're going to run through 5 of these. I'll let you kind of go through this in a little bit more detail on your own. I just wanted to mention these, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at charts for you folks. According to the Benzinga Edge Rankings Percentile Report, 5 tech names have posted dramatic week-on-week improvements in their value percentile scores, an indicator of undervaluation relative to their fundamental strength. Versus Systems here soared with a value of 16.27 to 68.67. That makes the surge of more than 53 points. The software company, known for its interactive audience and engagement solutions, appears to be attracting renewed attention as investors reassess the market potential relative to its operational fundamentals. I've heard of Versus Systems. I really don't trade this. I think we've talked about this on the show, or we've at least looked at the chart in some case. Let me know if any of you have this. It does say that it has robust growth and momentum rankings, but its price trend is a little weak. We'll see if that changes here. Titron Components. This is ticker TAIT. I don't know if I've ever even looked at this in my broker. I have no idea what this company does. I don't even think I've ever looked at the stock, but this too, making a pretty huge jump here. A supplier of electronic components saw a similar trajectory. Its value ranking skyrocketed from 16.26 to 67.97 in just 1 week. So maybe this electrical component, that would make sense with all the data center and AI stuff going on. That one makes a lot of sense. Now, this one also makes sense. This is data storage, ticker DTST, which specializes in cloud storage and managed IT solutions. I can only imagine that cloud services and advanced IT solutions are going to become more and more important as more things move to the cloud, move to AI, and then utilize AI in the company. Stuff like this, I think, is a great place to kind of park. I don't know about this company specifically, but this had a value jump from 23.83 to 74.52, 50-point increase. So again, all of these here, pretty huge moves. Now the next one, y'all should be happy about this. Sayata Mobile, we've traded this a whole bunch of times on the show. It's mostly been off just kind of gaps and maybe some morning PRs. This is a communication solution provider. It also exhibited strong momentum, improving its value percentile from 38.14 to 72.76. It's also had a pretty good year here. A pretty poor performance here. SYTA stock dropped 53.61% year to date and 84.23% in a year. So maybe now it's correctly priced. Maybe now makes more sense to actually add this. I don't know. Last one here is Intellinetics. That's INLX. I don't think we've looked at this one as a group either. It rounds out the group. It jumped from 13.34 to 46.48. A document management and workflow automation provider. Intellinetics benefits from continued digital transformation trends across the industry, setting the stage for a potential reevaluation by the market. Part of what I'm talking about when I talk about big cap tech really kind of diversifying into other stocks, namely some of these smaller cap stocks, these are the type of things that I'm going after. So I really like this report. I hope you folks find value from this. Did I throw this in the chat here? Yes, I did. So let me know. Hopefully you all can get something from that. Okay, now let's get back here. Let's take a look at some charts. We don't have any guest here today, at least not until the market opens. 13 is still doing research or in his bed. So let's go ahead and take a look at some stocks. Andis Izzy saying, Andis news here. Haven't even looked at it. Did it happen while the show started? Yes, it did. Happened a half an hour after the show started. We're going to start with the daily chart here. This yesterday, we were talking about this. It definitely looked weak, right? The day before yesterday. So this big candle here, there's just really no way to sugarcoat it. This was not great. Okay. This traded down all day. It ended up closing on the lows. And then yesterday, we had another move lower after getting some news that Safe Pro Group announcing the private placement there we had another move lower. The good news here is that this got bought back up like the rest of the market throughout the course of the day and gives us this pretty nice looking candle. Now today, you're saying we have new contract news. Let's take a look because maybe that sets this chart up to move higher here today. That would be great. Ondas secures a $2.7 million order from a defense customer for multiple units of its Iron Drone counter UAS system. Okay, so we have been saying the entire time with this thesis that it's great. We get all this positive news, and that's great. And it's great that the CEO is also on this advisory board, and they're bringing in experts, and they just brought in an AI expert for autonomous solutions. All of that stuff is great. But really what it comes down to is orders, money. It comes down to what hits the bottom line, new contracts that get fulfilled. That is exactly what we're looking for here. This one only 2.7 million, but still that's 2.7 million. Remember, their full year guide, I think, was for 25 million. So this is just a chunk of that here. A leader, it didn't give us the name though. That's right. $2.7 million purchase order. This order highlights the continued trust placed in our Iron Drone platform, a key defense partner as they expand their counter UAS infrastructure program. So this is unfortunate because I think if there was a name there and it was a recognizable name, you'd probably be getting a little bit better of a move here today. How many times have we seen that with other stocks that say, oh, we're working with NVIDIA or we're working with so-and-so, causes the stock to pop. Here's the thing. Ondas, this basically, sold off yesterday, came back, had a pretty good day when it was all said and done. Drifted a little higher in the after hours, but that's pretty much nothing. And then it really started to show this weakness again. So this would have been 3 days of weakness here. We'll see if the contract is enough to maybe buoy them here today and not make a move down. But new contract here, frankly, Izzy, this is actually one of the pieces of news that I would rather hear. I want to hear about contracts. I want to hear about money more so than some of these other things. So this is good. But we'll see. We'll see where it finishes. Here's the other thing. I know Ondas gets talked a lot about on FinTwit, and I saw some people the other day lamenting the move back here. Oh my God, everything's so good. Why is the stock selling off? Look, folks, again, let's take a step back. Earlier this year, literally in May, the stock was under $1. You could have been loading this stock. And a lot of us did, frankly, when it was down here. We got to move to above 4. So let's just remove the company. Let's remove the personality. Let's just remove all of the things except the actual action here of the stock. If you have an investment that moves from 87 cents to $4 plus, you're talking multiple hundreds of % gain on an equity. This isn't an option, which has a limited time frame. This is an equity. You have multiple 100% gain. Risk management dictates that you sell some of that. So if you're holding an entire position, 5,000, 10,000 shares from 87 cents, and it goes to $4 and you didn't sell any and it comes back into 3, I'm sorry, there's only one person to blame in that case, and it's you. Risk management is going to be extremely important. And when you get a multiple 100% move in just a matter of a couple of months, it's okay to sell some. It's okay to put that money in your pocket. Remember, when Tim Melvin talks to us about dividends, he says the great thing about dividends is when you get that money, they can't take it back from you. When you sell some of your shares and you get that cash in your account, it doesn't matter if it goes down. I sold some. Guess what? If this comes all the way back in, I've sold so much now, it wouldn't even really bother me. I'd probably buy some more and wait for it to move back up. I like the story. I think the story is intact here. So I say all that to say, look, when we have huge moves in stocks, remember, stocks go up, they go down. If you have a really good entry and the stock moves, don't be afraid to lock some of those gains in. Put that money in your account. Don't keep it exposed. You do not win on a trade until you close it. The same is true for losing on a trade. So don't forget that, all right? This to me, this pullback to me, this was a lesson in risk management. If you properly managed it, you don't really care about this pullback. If you didn't, maybe you're a bit sad. Raffle saying, so what's the next Ondas? Great question. And I love where your head is at because that's exactly what we want to do. We want to find the next big thing that is underpriced. That's actually why I just shared that story about those value rankings increasing. I'm going to do anything I can to try and find the next nice big mover. Now, I think long-term, this probably isn't done. But again, just remember what you're trading here. Remember some of your risk management. Okay. What else do you folks want to take a look at? Sorry, needed a drink there, T. I apologize for the dead air. But let's see, though. Let's get some tickers here. What charts do you want to take a look at? Maybe I missed some. 1 of 7 billion said he put a Hemi in a Prius. Okay. Diamond Hotline here. It's not a stock, but let's do it. Ryan, please, would you talk a little bit about your volume profile settings? Sure. So what Diamond Hotline is asking about here, the volume profile is these horizontal bars on the side of the chart. These basically show levels. I call them volume shelves. I use this to determine key levels here. You're asking about my settings. I made nothing different for my settings. I literally added the study from TradingView. If any of you have access to TradingView, you have access to this exact same study. You don't even need Benzinga Pro, but if you have Benzinga Pro, you have it as well. This is volume profile visible range. That's what VPVR stands for. And I have done nothing to this. It is literally the stock settings. Okay. I've made no changes to these settings. I haven't even made changes to the colors, which you could do if you wanted. But yeah, I basically just use this at the stock settings. And then once I have it overlaid on the chart, here's what I'm taking a look at. The volume point of control, this red line down here, 81 cents. We'll just use Ondas for an example because this is a really good one that the group has followed. This is why when we had a huge move from penny territory to 3, and then it came back and it settled along this line, this is why I felt good about adding. Look at everything on this chart here. This is clearly a bottom. Even if I back out here, this is clearly a bottom. We're talking a multi-year bottom here. And the volume profile can really kind of help me tell where traders are located. So if we fast forward here, when we started to come off this 81, 78 cents, where it doesn't really matter, wherever you draw your lines, when we started to come off of that, look what happened when we got to this higher range here. Or excuse me, let's call these bigger volume shelves. Look what happened. We had more choppiness because all of these people that are in here, there's more trading here. This is very much like what Mark Petrino talks about when we talk about creating a gap and how there was no trading in there and how the stock price can easily move in that period of the range versus a range where there was a lot of trading. This is the exact same thing here. Now, the one thing that I will mention about this diamond is that I only really use this on the daily chart. That is to say, if I bring up the 5-minute chart, it'll do the same thing here. It'll calculate this based on what you have. But I don't actually use this for intraday trading. I feel much better about the EMAs that 13 and I use, and I feel much better about the VWAP. That to me is a more tradable, more actionable, and more reliable. These volume shelves, this volume profile, these volume bars, these to me are more important on larger time frames like daily, weekly, and monthly. The one I use it on the most is the daily. Hopefully that is helpful for you there. Okay. I love seeing this, day trader. Let's go, dude. Having sold calls against most of my Ondas position, I'm happy to see it chop while Theta does its thing for me. This was a great way to play that. Shout out to you for actually doing it. Amanda, I think, had some suggestions about doing this too. There's a number of ways that you can manage these positions and the stock moving back down. It's not the end of the world. Day trader, really good stuff. Thank you for sharing, as always. All right, folks. It looks like Rooster did his job. Rooster, Peter, whichever one it was, they cawed loud enough for 13 to wake up. Let's see how he's doing here. 13, good morning. How you doing, boss?
I heard Peter cawing. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
We're doing good. I'll be honest with you, 13. The news here was kind of light today. There's not a ton going on here today. We do have some movers. We'll take a look at them. I've got a couple of stocks here. It looks like Microsoft, MBOT, Open, Fly. Let me add all of these to the list here. MSFT, MBOT, MBOT, Hood, Intel. Okay, so you guys gave plenty of charts here. EL, Estee Lauder, Open. and fly. Okay. Well, I got a bunch of charts to look at already, but you want to knock these movers out, boss?
Sure, let's go ahead and get that done.
Okay, you sound absolutely thrilled about doing that. So really excited.
Let's go ahead and get that done.
Let's go. 13, I appreciate your attitude every single day, just in case I'm not clear about that. First one here is going to be ticker APM. This is Aptorum Group. This stock was $1.28 yesterday, and it looks like it tried to go for $3 here today, but backed off a little bit. Let's take a look at the news here. Dimer Biosciences and Aptorum Group announced New York State approval for Dimer's APOE genotyping test. Okay, so it received CLEP approval from the New York State Department of Health for one of its tests for genotyping. That's causing the stock to move. Brace yourselves, guys. We have 100% runner early in the pre-market here. Stock is up by 108%. Quick look at the short interest on this name. 7.13% of the float shorted. That comes on 1 day to cover. That 1 day to cover comes on an average volume of 3.25 million. Today, we've traded 75 million already here in the pre-market. Float on this bad boy is 3.4 million. What do you think here, 13?
Well, a little bit of context here for this. The Diamir, the company that it's referring to, they are actually merging with APM later on this in the fourth quarter in an all stock deal. We traded this news earlier this year back in July when they announced this. So they are going to merge with Aptorum. Aptorum's still going to be on the NASDAQ. It'll still retain its listing, but the companies are going to be combining. So Diamir is the one that's going to have this. That's basically it's their device that's getting the state approval. This company only reports 2 times a year, so I don't have a whole lot of financial data on them, but it does appear that they're going to need some cash at some point soon. So not sure where that's going to come from or when, if they're going to do an offering anytime soon. I don't think they've had any kind of offering or capital raise in some time. Let me just double check that, because I think it was 2023. Yeah. So that's the last time they did a reverse split. That's the last time they did any kind of capital raise. So don't know if any of that's coming today. The chart looks like it's certainly trying to keel over a little bit here. I don't know how much higher it's going to go in the pre-market, but if we can at least hold the VWAP for a little bit longer, we might be able to get a good trade out of this into the open. If it starts to lose VWAP, then the support levels that we're going to want to see kick in are going to be down around 235, and then the 65 EMA down underneath too. So that's what I'd be watching for as we approach the open. It looks like a lot of that big impulse move up to 293 has already passed. So we just need to see the price kind of hang out above VWAP so we can try and push higher. Looking at the daily chart, though, we've seen this do a very similar move to some other biotechs where they have a big pop out of the gate and they just come right back in. They trade very, very horribly the following days. So this isn't something that you're going to want to hold on to, even with that knowledge of the merger happening in the next quarter this year. It's got 3.4 million shares in the float. Should see some pretty good movement as long as we can, hang out above VWAP. That's about all I got for APM. Just be careful with this. So it's going to be a be careful kind of day, folks, just so you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just on the 30,000 foot view there, I think this is another day where we protect our capital. Just to kind of reiterate something that we talked about in yesterday's session, if you get gains on some of these movers, just don't be afraid to take them. We could very easily see them pull back quite quickly, and your gain all of a sudden becomes a bag that you didn't want. So just, I think there's still a lot of waiting. I gave you the Louis Navalier quote. There's going to be shenanigans up until this entire thing. Just keep that in mind. 13, that's a really good reminder there.
Yeah, some of these movers this morning, they look like a lot worse than some of these other movers we've traded before. And we'll get into that. So we already got past APM. Looks like they're going to need cash, and that we might get a better idea of that the next time that they report earnings, which is going to be in December, I believe. But anyway, yeah, that's APM. PTX is another next one I have. There you go. Go ahead, because I'll get to why this one is going to be junky as well.
Okay, here we go. Protogenic Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company announced it has completed the first dosed injection of its phase 1 multiple dose study of PT00114. I'm not sure what that is, but perhaps you'll let us know. You can see this stock did move from about 230 to above 4. We're doing something similar here as APM, although we're already back testing this VWAP here at 379. Let's wait and see if this holds. Quick look at the short interest on this name. 1.36% of the float shorted, and that comes on comes with a days to cover value of 1. That comes on 281,000 shares of average volume. Today we've traded 23 million. The big takeaway from this breakdown, though, at least so far, we got a micro floater here. 801,000 shares in the float. This one can move even if it doesn't make sense. All right, what do you got here? I was going to go through this, but if you've already done that, mood disorders. Okay, stress and mood disorders is what this drug is for. Okay.
Yeah, so this is they announced that they've done their first dose injections for a multi-dose study for their PT00114, and that's going through different phase 1s, but for different mood disorders. So it's kind of separate studies, but still for the same drug. This company does appear like they need cash, and one of the concerning things about this that makes it extra risky is that they reported earnings, or they were going to report earnings, but they have delayed their 10Q filing because they're going through a restructuring. Now, earlier this month, they were doing the restructuring. They were cutting $8 million annual costs. Some of their preclinical programs they've halted, so that they terminated their CEO and COO, and they started to refocus on their lead clinical trial, which was the PT00114. The one that it's moving on today. So they're supposed to be getting some top line results for this phase 1. For the safety and efficacy in September. Interestingly enough, they also report September 2nd. I don't know if they're going to include that top line data in their report, but we're supposed to be getting that information around the same time. So we'll see if they end up doing their filing their 10Q and report their. It says it's supposed to report on September 2nd. We'll see if that ends up happening, but just be careful because that 10Q delay, not a great thing. It looks like this company is going to need some cash, and it's got a very small float. So it's just one of those things. Be very, very careful for, because you could absolutely get your head lopped off with this kind of thing.
And by the way, while you were going through your breakdown there, this thing did just lose its VWAP. So Tim Burr, let's see where we end up settling here. No reason to jump in this a little bit early. Okay, next on the list here, AEMD. This is Athlon Medical. This did pop in the after hours yesterday. Did another pop again here today. It files for offering of common stock and accompanying warrants. The size was not disclosed. For whatever reason, that is causing this to pop 52% here today. I would be careful with this one. Short interest on this name, 4.28% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume of 352,000 shares. The float on this stock, 1.99 million. So 2 million, still pretty low. Not the micro float of PTIX that we just looked at, but lower nonetheless. What do you think here on AEMD and its proposed offering?
So it didn't have enough time to kind of dig into the offering here. I guess there was an expectation of a major dilution, but for some reason it's bouncing back up. Now, I think one of the reasons could be that this thing just got so hammered. I think it ended up going down to its all-time lows in the stock's history. So there could have been some kind of low RSI bounce, or somebody just stepping into buying the dip. I don't know for sure. Like I said, I didn't have enough time to go over this. A little less than 2 million shares in the float. It looks like this could still end up going lower, to be honest, just with the way that the price action has been kind of forming a descending triangle over the past couple of months, since pretty much the end of June. But it is trying to recover here. We are trading over some of these daily small EMAs, the 9 and 15, coming up to, actually, we're right about at the 65 EMA on the daily. So that might be the big resistance area to start getting
that
over.
Value is 170. That is exactly where we're at, 13. You're spot on.
Now above that, there's also resistance up at 195. So if we do manage to see the price trade up and back over the 65 EMA and go higher, that 195 area would be the next area of resistance I'd be looking at. But like I said, I didn't have enough time to go through this. I don't know how good or bad their cash position is, but if they have to raise capital through a stock offering, it's probably not that great.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff there. AEMD. Next on the list here is GRO. This is Brazil Potash. This was about $1.50 yesterday, traded up to $2.40 in the after hours. Tried to go higher than that this morning, but really couldn't. It's come back in. We're actually below the VWAP. Really haven't had a whole lot of success trying to move back above that VWAP. Brazil Potash, this happened yesterday after hours. Brazil Potash executes definitive offtake agreement with Key Trade Fertilizer for Brazil of about 900,000 tons of fertilizer. So, so they're doing a deal there for that. 1.27% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. This has a float of 17.3 million. On average, it trades just over 1 million shares. Today, we've traded just over 10 million shares. What do you think here on GRO?
This company loses more cash in a quarter than they have on their balance sheet. So they're going to have to, they do have these deals that they've been signing, like this $200 million one with Fictor Energia. So maybe we just need to kind of be patient and wait to see what their next earnings report shows, because they may actually have that cash. I don't know. But this deal with Key Trade, was there any figures attached to this, or is it just the fact that it's 900,000 tons of fertilizer?
No, let me skim through this here real quick. Agreement with Key Trade. We now have binding commitments of 1.4 million tons. Distribute up to no, there isn't. Key Trade will purchase 30 to 37% of Brazil's annual potash production, up to a maximum of 900,000
on a take or pay basis. Okay, well, I mean, we'd have to do some math on that and look into how much that production is. But apparently, traders think it's substantial. Let's look at the technicals, since I really can't get a good read on the cash, but it does look like they are really needing these deals here. We got a bit of a trend line here on the 5-minute chart too, so we could probably
I think this is what you're talking about, right? From the high yesterday down through some of these. How do you want me to draw this? Just the actual high here from this morning?
No, let's that 246. No, let's not use that. Let's start with the one that you said, the high from yesterday.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. The high here, the second high of the morning that tops at 225. Let's go through that.
Yeah, let's just do that. That seems to work a little bit better. And we're trying to recapture VWAP in the process. It seems like we were just above it. Now we're beneath it again. It seems like if we can get, continue to hammer this trend line again, we're going to end up pushing through it. But there is that sideways consolidation at about, what is this? Just right about 2, maybe just a little bit above 2. And it kind of ends at about 215. So there's that 10-15 cent range.
Yeah, it's really 205 to 215. It's about that 10-cent range in there. Yeah.
That's going to be with where the breakout's likely going to happen. It's probably going to be in that range. At least that's what I would think at this stage. We're starting to pull now. But that area I would keep marked up, because that's going to be a supply zone for sure, regardless of where we end up getting this breakout. If this move over the trend line does happen, I think we need to keep that zone marked off.
Okay. Good stuff there. GRO. All right. Next one here. There's no news on this one, at least as far as I can remember. Let me see if anything else came out here. Yeah, no news on this. This is just continuation from yesterday's reported news about the results for TH104. It looks like we got some continuation here in the after hours. I'm not surprised, given what the stock did during the day, that there were some after hours shenanigans. It looked like it's just kind of chopping around here. I'll be honest with you. I would actually expect a pullback on this name. In fact, if this pulled back to 4, let's just say 4. One of the key levels here for me is going to be 4. This pulls back to 4, and and kind of holds this area, I think this actually might set up for a trade here. But anyway, let me go through the rest of this 13. Sorry to leave you hanging there. Pretty much negligible short interest, 0.11% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. Float on this stock, 5.2 million. On average, it trades 5.8. Today we traded 28. Sorry, 13. Get in there.
No, you're fine. I just going to say I like that $4 area. It seems like toward the end of the day, that's where the high was, and now that's where the 200 EMA is on the 5-minute chart. It's slightly above 4, but in that same area. So I think what you're referring to as far as a support area, 4 does look like one of the stronger ones, and if that doesn't hold up, probably going to end up being around 315 where the next strong area of support appears. And this chart for Thar, it's not looking great to me right now. It's looking a little bearish. And if we can't recapture this VWAP here as we approach the open, I'm thinking we're going to probably end up testing that 4 sooner than we think.
Okay, good stuff there on Thar. What else was on your list?
We burned through it, sir.
We've burned through it. Okay, I think the only other thing that really started to go here while we were talking was Velo, ticker VELO. This is Velo 3D. Good mention here, Izzy. Velo, let's take a look at this. Velo partners with the U.S. Navy to bolster maritime industrial base through advanced 3D printing of critical ship components.
Awesome.
Okay. Enters a $6 million contract with the U.S. Navy. That's notable. The market cap of this company is only $44.5 million. So $6 million contract on a relative basis seems pretty good. Stock is popping here, holding higher by 16%. Quick look at the short interest on this. 0.13% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover, comes on an average volume of 2.4 million. Today, post this PR, we're right at about 1 million, but that's definitely going to increase. Float on this is 1.7. What do you got, 13?
Just go to the 5-minute chart and make sure you have you can see the past few days, because it's giving you all the levels you need to see. And so far, you can easily tell that 420 level. Here we go. At 420 level, maybe 425. That's a resistance level we hit this morning. And when you look and see that, that's kind of the top of this most of the consolidation from the after hours on Tuesday, I believe. That's going to be one of the levels right there. You've got another one at 470, another one at 5, and then you have a big one at 540. So just using this price action over the past couple of days going into today, that gives you a good sense of where the support and resistance areas are. And also seems like there could be a bit of a gap from was that Monday?
This here, this says Tuesday. This right here says, okay, yeah. So from Monday to Tuesday. Sorry, 13. Yes, there was just no pre-market or after hours trading in there.
Well, anyway, the only point that I'm trying to make here is the past couple of days have given you some pretty good levels to draw support and resistance on, and those levels that I just mentioned are the ones I'd be keeping a look at an eye on. So it seems to me the next one we're going to want to watch for is whether or not we can hold above VWAP and get above 420.
Okay. Good stuff there on Velo. All right. Let's go ahead and start rolling through some of the charts that folks wanted. Y'all did a really good job giving me a bunch. 13, I'm going to start with one of your holdings here, one of the stocks that you really like. We're going to start with Microsoft.
All right.
Okay, so Microsoft, just right off the bat here, Microsoft kind of trading with tech like we've seen here. I think the reason this was probably asked about is because we're right at the 50. So what do we do next here? Is this a buy spot? Do we maybe peak below this, recapture it? RSI is kind of in no man's land here. We're past the earnings for Microsoft already. So what do you think here on Microsoft? What do you see in the chart?
Well, because I'm, going to be holding this for a very long time, and I think that this is going to, end up being, great, in years and years into the future. I would be waiting for some kind of bottoming in order to load back up. Now, here's something interesting. We're starting to see this one particular type of candle all the time. We just saw it with TJX. We saw it with Roblox. Do you see it? Do you see the candle?
Sorry, I was doing something else. 13. I'm sorry, man.
All right, so we keep seeing this one candle.
This one, the big blow off one.
Keep seeing.
Were these for this on the same day, by the way? No.
No. I just think it's earnings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So they reported earnings the same day. Okay.
Yeah, because it's we're getting these really wild candles, and so far the stocks that we've looked at that have done this, they've resolved lower. Now Roblox is resolving lower for a different reason.
Yeah.
Microsoft, I think, is just resolving
Insane.
lower because it's being part of the tech sector, and the tech sector having gone on a great run. This needs to cool off, and it could continue to cool off even more. I'm not exactly sure where the bottom's going to be. Wouldn't surprise me if this goes down into the 40.50 to 40.60 area. But eventually this is going to end up turning around, as with all tech, and it might not be until later on in the year, closer to end of September, maybe towards the end of July, October even. But I think this is going to be another one with the tech that's going to get pulled back, and it'll create a buying opportunity. We'll pick it up. I don't know if this is the area where it finds support. I'm not sure that it is. I would. It would be surprising if we started a reverse from here. I think that there's probably some more downside that this and other tech names need to endure first. But that's what I would be looking for is, just when it's starting to show signs of bottoming. And right now, I don't think we're seeing that yet.
Okay. All right. So maybe some more downside here on Microsoft. We shall see.
And there could be a bounce that takes it back up towards the 20. We've talked about this with Roblox too.
Yeah.
It goes back up to their 125, which is where their 20-day SMA is. I would completely be unsurprised if we did get some kind of bounce. But I do think that we are going to end up going lower especially as we get into September.
Okay, here we go. Next one on the chart, next one from the chat was MBot. This is Microbot Medical. Tell you what, this chart sure looks like this is trying to break out from this spot right here, literally right here, 331. So I think I understand why you guys want to take a look at this one as well. Let's see if there's any news affecting this one here. We had news yesterday morning about getting a patent. Now, patent news generally is short-lived. Guess we're seeing. Let me take a look inside here. Yeah. So we traded up yesterday on the patent news. Haven't really done anything here today. I'll be honest with you. This level right in here, this 334, 335 level, this to me seems to be the big breakout level. I've got the top. Let me get the actual top of this previous candle here real quick. I've got that at 338. Let's just call it anywhere between 335 and 338. We've got some pretty significant resistance here, and a breakout may end up popping this thing. Let's see, do we have any? Yeah, we actually do have some short interest here. In fact, this is probably the highest of any of the stocks that we've taken a look at here today. 18.5% of the float short with 2.98 days to cover. Average volume is 1.8 million. This stock is not even traded 100,000 shares today, so be careful. Float's 45 too, so it's a little thick. 13, what do you think of this spot right here? More resistance or possible breakout?
It's interesting that we're seeing a lot of medical device companies really starting to, tick back up here. And I know some other folks, and myself included, have some exposure to these names. MDT is one of them. So this could be, a continuing trend for some time, but I would expect, some pullbacks on the way up. And we might be getting one as we get closer to 350. I like your 335. I'm going to add to that 335 to 350, that particular range. Because we are in this consolidation back from January of 2023. And it might be a little bit of a struggle for the price to get up and through that because there's still some more bag holders that haven't been given the opportunity to sell yet at their the prices they bought it. So I think that we could continue to see some resistance all the way up to 350. And the area that you mentioned, 335, and I'm going to add 350. I think that area, once we get past that, we're going to see some better trading. There are other resistance levels on the way up at 4. There's a big one coming up at around 460 to 475. So there's a lot of resistance areas on the way up, but let's just focus on the ones that are in front of our face, which is going to be at 335, 350.
Okay. Real good there. That's what we're going to be looking at here on MBot. I'm going to keep rolling here. Hood was next on the list. Here's Robin Hood. You could, boy, I tell you what, dude, I know we've kind of joked a lot about the trend lines and how great they've been. Boy, Mutombo'd from this most recent trend line. This, a very similar setup to some of the other tech names. It's lost its 20. It went towards its 50. Hasn't actually tested it yet. And maybe it's going to try and recapture it here. We're down 1.7% here in the pre-market on Hood today. I don't see any news here. Unveils Cortex AI tools digest in the UK, bringing real-time stock expansion every day. Okay, I guess there is a piece of news here. Robinhood Digest. Oh, I don't know if this is attributing for the move here today. We're down 1.7%. It sure looks like Robinhood, which has been on a huge move recently, is still in its corrective phase. I got to think 97.5 is your next spot here on Hood. What do you think?
This so I have a pattern here, and you've got half of it. If you could draw the other trend line that starts on and this is going to be on the underside of the price action. Draw a trend line from the bottom of April 7th of this year up through that low of August 1st and keep it going. So when you do that, I'll give you a second. There you go.
Here's April 7th. Here's the August 1st. Here's your trend line. Got it.
What you have here is a rising wedge. These are bearish. And when the price starts to fall out of it, it's going to try and pull itself back into the wedge. But typically what will happen with these is that you'll get a rejection of that bottom wedge, and this will head lower. So I'm thinking that as soon as we start seeing some closes underneath the $100 level, because that appears to be the strongest area of resistance right now, we're going to see this begin to really accelerate to the downside. I think that we're going to probably end up seeing, maybe 85 or lower in this. I don't know how low this is going to, I would say this is going to go yet, but this is a pretty clear pattern to me. And I think if we get the resolution that these typically do, it's going to back test the underside of this trend line and then head lower.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense to me. All right. Real quickly here, two things that I actually want to jump in front of here. Jay Rice. Oh, by the way, Jay Rice, the golf trip that I'm going on this weekend, we are finally going to do it. We are going to exercise some demons. We're going to take that Packers ball that you sent me. We're going to find the biggest body of water we can on one of those courses, and we are going to do the monster mash, and we are going to pound that thing into the water. So thank you very much ahead of time. Jay, though, stock related here, mentioning that TGLS, Technogenesis, there is a short report. So we'll start here with the daily chart. This is where we look like right at about $70. We're down $5, almost $5 here on this short report. Culper Research short report says fallout looms. Here is the actual report itself. Please don't be behind a paywall. Culper Research. Here you go, folks. Throwing this in the chat for any of you that want to go through the short report, see if this is legit, or maybe pull a lion and just buy the dip. There you go. Here is your short report. So I obviously have not gone through this. I'm going to save this here and do that when I have a little bit more time. Probably won't be till tonight. But there you go. Good stuff, Jay. Appreciate you bringing this up. 13, I don't know, without us reading it, I don't know if there's any insights we can deliver. So I'm just going to move on from this unless you see something on the chart that kind of stands out to you.
Well, a couple of things.
Unless you skimmed it already, which would be super impressive.
Well, just something that stood out to me that happened earlier this month is that there's a major shareholder that sold almost 1.5 million shares. Let me just go to insiders real quick. So that was Energy Holding Corp. Looks like they had also sold back in May. They also had sold back in last year in November. So it seems like they're just really dumping this company. And then you get this short report. So I don't know if there's any correlation to that, but it seems like Energy Holding is making its way for the exit, has been making its way for the exit, trying not to be very loud about it. So I don't know if they knew something or not, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, we've traded these before. If this is going to provide a trade for us here today, I'd want to see some, I want to see the price hit an area of support. And I don't think one stands out greater to me than the $60 level. So if you put like a line at $60 on TGLS on the daily chart and looked at where this kind of lands with previous price action and the 500-day SMA, you can see why I'm a little bit, excited about that particular area being a support level.
Okay.
But I don't know if it'll hold, but it's just one area of really strong looking support.
Okay, real quick here. C-Dub doing some great work for us. We are short Technoglass because we uncovered new evidence that links Technoglass insiders, including its CEO and COO, Jose and Christian Days, to Sonola cartel operations. We found that Technoglass brothers Jose and Christian were named explicitly as two of the 8 businessmen who allegedly participated in this scheme. That's not good.
No. And
that's not good. I don't have a line on this company. I don't ever really follow this company, but that right there, that does give me some trepidation.
And it's crazy how this short report starts with, in late 2022 and 2023, Mexican hackers leaked a cache of Mexican intelligence reports. That's where they got this information.
Wow.
That's not something that you usually hear. Mexican hackers. It's usually Russia, China.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
C-Dub, thank you for going through that and posting it here. That is sketchy. Zane, well said, buddy. Absolutely, that is. Okay, shout out to the group for alerting us to this and then having us breaking it down in real time. Really good stuff there. C-Dub, 13, Jay, awesome. Really, really good stuff. And then there was another piece of news here. It was Tesla. Thank you, Izzy. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla getting pounded here in the pre-market. Okay, so it looks like it traded down to 320 so far and held that. That was from the closing price of about 323. Let's take a look and see what the news is here on this.
Has to do with his pay package?
No. So this might not be in here yet. U.S. Auto Safety Agency opening a probe into potential delays in Tesla reporting crashes involving the advanced driver assistance systems. This was per an SEC filing.
I mean, all these autonomous vehicles are crashing right now.
Yeah, you know what though? I'm going to give you I don't know if it's going to be a necessarily a buy today. I think that the dip from this is buyable. Like you just said, 13, all of these autonomous cars are having some type of error. There's going to be investigations into this. We've seen companies get investigated for more than this, and they've got a slap on the wrist, if anything. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that this is probably a buying opportunity for Tesla. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Izzy.
I think you might be right, but not yet. I want to think that there's still potentially some more downside that could be had. Now, if it recaptures 325, that could certainly change my tune. But it seems like this could still come closer to 300 first. We'll see.
Okay.
There's there are a couple of trend lines that kind of stand out, so I'm not sure, but yeah, it does look like that 325 is probably the biggest area that needs to get picked back up, and then after that the 200-day SMA. We are right now trading beneath the 50 and the 20 and the 200, so it's got a lot of work ahead of it to get back above those SMAs. But there's a trend line that that supported it yesterday, so we'll see if that trend line kicks in again today.
Okay, good stuff there on Tesla. Having some fun with the group. Wiss here saying, have you talked about the new Cracker Barrel logo? Okay, no, I haven't, for a couple of reasons.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait. Go. Let's go.
You can't. Well, I mean,
I want to see it.
Oh, you actually want me to?
I want to see it. Let's see it.
You've not seen it yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't eat there, so I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going here. Have I talked about this? No. This seems to be creating a firestorm on social media, and just because I like life, smiling, happiness, and my own heart, I simply choose to avoid a lot of that. Cracker Barrel is a public stock there. It's ticker CBRL. Stock is down 3% here today. It actually looks like it's kind of turned around from Friday. I don't know if I can attribute this to the new logo. I mean, I think that would be like the easy, like low-hanging fruit to do that. I don't know how substantial that is. Here, Cracker Barrel logo. If we Google this, and here we go.
Is it a dude leaning on a barrel now?
No, that's what it was.
Oh,
Okay. So here, let me get the image. Let me go to images. Sorry, you can't see this. Let me go to images. So here's what the old logo used to be. And if we go back, here we go. Come on. Here's what the new logo is. So to me, it really seems like they got rid of the cracker and the barrel in the logo. And they left it very plain. I'll be honest, guys. I don't know why this matters. Like who cares? This would be my reaction. I maybe you thought I was going to give you something fiery here. I don't think so. Who cares? What first of all, I don't even know why they would do something like this. I don't really know why this would affect anything. I haven't eaten Cracker Barrel since '94, so this doesn't really even affect me.
Look, it's like it's like they caved to all of the entire crowd that was upset that there was a white dude on the logo. And so this is the vanilla plain, watered down version of it. So I guess the backlash is from probably the conservative side saying the logo is fine. You didn't need to cave to these people. Why did you do that? And that's what the backlash is coming for. But at least that would be my read.
Okay.
On it. This looks boring as hell.
This does look boring, but I think Bilger here, look, getting through all of again, I really don't want to participate in the social media back and forth. We have a great community here. We all have varying opinions, and I don't want to bring that toxicity in here.
Yeah.
So Bilger, I think he's hitting it the best. This is actually free marketing. Cracker Barrel, not a stock that we ever look at for any reason. We never really talk about it. And we have a problem on this show about talking about food, and we still never really talk about Cracker Barrel. And now we are because of this. Bilger, I think you hit it right on the head here. This is free marketing. Now, where this ends up, I don't know. Jay here saying Tuttle says to short it. I don't know that I would ever place a trade, with any reasonable amount of money that I care about on something as silly as a logo change. That's kind of where I'll leave it. This to me seems much ado about nothing. Sorry if you expected something a little bit more fiery. Well, how about you?
Maybe. I mean, I think back to some other change. And yes, you're right. They are getting some free publicity out of this. I get that. Although I'm not sure it's necessarily the type of publicity you want. They're being talked about for something that is not making people happy. So not sure how great that is. But, we have seen marketing budgets start to shrink as a result of AI being able to generate a lot of stuff. So, I guess maybe AI told them, hey, there's a lot of volatility on the internet. You could get talked a lot about if you just did something to your logo. I don't know, but I don't necessarily think that this is going to be too bad, but it could have an impact because it could be another Bud Light, situation.
Okay.
It might have some of those impacts, but it may also represent a buying opportunity. But let's just see where it goes, and once it starts to show some signs of a bottom, that might be the other time we can take a look at it. But
yeah, what, 13, I almost think that if this does move down on something immaterial, I mean, unless this actually bleeds to lower restaurant foot traffic and lower sales, this to me is a non-factor. If this trades down on this, I think you might be right. If this comes into a support level, you might have a buying opportunity here. I didn't have Cracker Barrel on my bingo card today, but here we are.
Yeah,
here we are.
Because Anheuser-Busch, they faced this backlash, but they ended up recovering, right?
Yeah, the only one that hasn't is Target, but they've got their own issues.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, could be a buying opportunity, but let's just wait for it to shake out.
Yeah, and Jay here saying it's already down 3. I wouldn't necessarily chase it. That to me, that all makes a lot of sense. You guys are getting it done. Okay. Estee Lauder. This was another one. This is a company that this chart has not been great. They did in their most recent earnings report cite tariffs as part of the problem. The reality here is that the move down started long before that. They've got their own problems behind the scenes here. However, maybe we've come up off this $52 bottom. We are above a lot of these moving averages, and it does look like we're back testing the 50 here. So I would say, based on the chart here, Estee Lauder, this is not a stock that I normally trade. Let's see, we got a bunch of price target raises here today. We had good earnings yesterday morning. Stock sold off on good earnings. Maybe it holds this area. Let's see what our price targets are. 10 raised to 107, 87, 99, and 100. Stock's 85, so maybe a little bit more room up here. What do you see in the Estee Lauder chart, ticker EL?
It looks like it's on the recovery. You had a silver cross that happened back in May, followed by a golden cross in July. It seems to me, though, that it's coming up to a pretty solid resistance area, somewhere in the range of 102 to 104. So if you look at that area, you can see that that was initially a support area back in November of 2023 when this was on its way down. And once we lost that level, that was a resistance area when it was trying to recapture it back in September of 2024. Failed to do that, went lower. Now we also have the 500-day SMA that's coming down. That's right at 104 as well. So this area that we're starting to trade up to, if we get this support that helps lift it higher from the 50-day SMA, if we can get over 95 and make our way up to, oh, we're actually open. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
If we can get over that 95 level, I'd be looking at resistance between 102 and 104, where those former support and resistance areas were.
Okay. Really good stuff there. We got through almost all of them, and you guys gave me a ton of tickers. Open Door was the only other one. Open Door's first move here off the open is higher. We'll see if it loses that pre-market low, 320, one of your spots.
APM trying to get into over 295. It's looking a little weak here. Might end up losing the 270 level APM. Just something I'm watching for right now. No position in that one.
Yeah, just really quickly, 13, just looking at the shape of this pre-market action, I would really like this to complete its pullback to the VWAP there at 257, 256, and maybe hold there.
VELO is the one that's really having a good morning, trying to take out the pre-market high of 416. This is the one that we wanted to see get over 420. There it is.
There's 420. There it is. Okay.
So let's see if how much higher this one can go. I think 420 was the area that we were talking about where it might run into resistance, and that's certainly what's happened here. But we also gave other levels like 470 and $5 as other potential upside targets. Should we get past 420 here?
Okay, good stuff. Let's see. Tesla bouncing off of the open. Costco pulling back out of the open. Rocket really pulling. I'll tell you what, Rocket's had a tough move down these last couple of days. Again, we talked about Ondas making sure you sell some. Been selling some of my Rocket. I'm actually down 50%, or sold, 50% of my Rocket positions. That's made it a lot easier on this pullback.
Yeah, VEL though, still having a hard time with that 420 area. If it continues to have this kind of struggle getting up and over that, we might see this thing come back in.
APM, this is actually moving to the top end of its range here. We'll see if it has the strength to get above that on APM. $3, the $3 holla is what we got to look for here. Big pull there. See where it holds.
More
still pulling.
More movement up through 420 on VELO. Ran into 425 before it came back in. It's certainly looking like VELO is having a real hard time with that area that we outlined in the pre-market here. So. Just be careful with this one. We don't want to get anybody trapped in it, especially up here where it's not a good idea to chase.
Okay.
Then let's see, APM, that's still looking like it's kind of trading between the range of 270 and 315.
Yeah, I maintain that I would like to see this shake out some of these flippers here and move down to 256. To me, the action here just feels like it's indecisive, and I would rather have some of the weak hands flushed out of it. We'll see if we get that.
It looks like AEMD is trying to push up. Let me see if I can draw a trend line here on this one, if it makes any sense to me.
You said AEMD, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just looking to see if because it's trying to make its way through some of this price action we had in the pre-market here, but I just for funsies I just drew a trend line from what is this, the 525 yesterday, up through the high of the pre-market this morning.
Got it.
And that kind of gives us an area of almost 250 where this may run to. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We're going to have to see some real big volume expansion, and there's some resistance areas on the way up that's going to have to get through as well, like 195.
PTIX. Yep. Sorry to interrupt. PTIX is going though.
Nice stuff.
Does anyone see anything that looks great so far? I don't think that I do right out of the open. PTIX was good, I suppose, if you were hitting that, but
yeah, that was, and that still may go up to that 424 pre-market high. As a matter of fact, it's knocking on the door of it, and almost there.
Okay, PTIX, this one was pretty good out of it.
Nice.
No. I'm sorry. Sorry, that wasn't clear. This is another reason why I generally don't try to focus on this. I never hit this one. I never got in this, so I'm not in it for this big move higher. Grats if you are. Good call, Wiss.
Just hit that pre-market high. We're now at 444, the session high. Doesn't look like it's quite finished, but there may be a little bit of a pullback. So let's see if this does have provide a pullback that it holds above the VWAP. Looks like AEMD is also trying to get going. GRO, this is still above VWAP, but it's kind of looking shaky. And APM, that's trending beneath VWAP. That's trying to recover. Don't know if I like the way this chart looks. It looks like it's about to roll over and go lower.
On which one? APM?
Yeah.
Because I'm watching AEMD here. This is trying to go through its VWAP, but remember, this really kind of struggled with the VWAP earlier. Yeah, here, now we're pulling off that spot.
PTIX put in a new session high, 449, and it's backing off as well.
Yeah, good stuff there on PTIX, though. That actually at least gave some movement.
And VELO is halted to the downside following that print of 425. We also have THAR halted to the downside as well.
Now, that was just kind of continuation from yesterday. That's a little bit more expected, in my opinion.
Yeah, this one we already were kind of thinking this wasn't going to be great. And so far it's indicated that it's not great. And if we unhalt here and lose this this 450 level, it's probably going to end up being closer to $4 that you see some support kick in out of the halt. So we'll have to wait and see if that's the case.
Jay here mentioning that the CORZ move here, this got bought. CoreWeave did get upgraded here today. It was Wainwright, but it was upgraded here.
So I've got a second to look at the chat. I'm being asked thoughts on ELPW dropping with no news yesterday. Let me look at that. Elon Power Holding. Oh, wow. That is quite a drop, isn't it? A drop from 265, it looks like, all the way down to Pennyland.
PDD, big move out of the open here. Tuna saying PTIX 385 is your refill level if it comes back in. Here, you want me to go to that ticker there? What was it? ELPW?
ELPW, it's... I'm just kind of looking to see if there's a reason for this. There may be something in one of the filings that indicates what's going on with this. I see that earlier this month, the chief financial officer resigned and a new one was appointed back on July 30th. I don't know if there's something in there that's got people spooked, or if we're just not hearing the news. But let me see if I can find it. I'll try to do both. I don't see anything right off the top of my head here, but this is a Chinese company, so something may not have been disclosed.
That AEMD backed off that VWAP. That got rejected pretty good.
Yeah, so far a lot of rejections happening here. APM. Not sure if we're going to see this one go much higher than the 302 print, but it could. It seems like it's just running into a lot of sellers at just shy of 3, like around somewhere between 390, 395. I'm sorry, 290, 295. So we'll see if it can get back up in this area. But looking at the price ladder, large seller in the way at 290, even more at $3. So if volume expands and takes them out, we could see some fireworks. But other than that, it's probably going to get rejected if we can't take those sellers out. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's anything in any of these filings that would give this an indication as to why ELPD went down so hard.
HLX here, Marcus. HLX, Helix Energy lands a major Gulf of America contract. Shares edge higher. Does it tell me it says that actually in the PR?
Gulf of America?
It does. Let's go. I want to buy this on general principle at this point. Let's go. That's the first time I've seen that, by the way.
This is also okay. So ELPW, they also have a non-compliance notice. They delayed an SEC file. There might be a lot of just really bad things happening with this, and traders or investors have said, you know what, screw it, we're out. The non-compliance might have a big something big to do with ELPD. I'm sorry, I'm not able to find the exact reason, but going through some of the history of the news, it seems like this company is having a hard time in a lot of different aspects. Let me see if I can. I'm going to write this down. I'll see if I can find out some more. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to figure this out. I'm sorry, but I couldn't get you a reason.
AEMD coming back to its VWAP right now on AEMD. NVIDIA is trading up, but it's at the pre-market high. We really want to see that pre-market high get taken out for that to move higher. So I clicked on AEMD. Why did it load PTIX? Maybe I missed. Here we go. So we are through the VWAP now. Let's see if we can hold here. No position for me in this one. On the way back up here, I watched it get rejected. I'll tell you what, there was that refill level there. Smoke Tuna, again, saying that, don't take your eyes off of it when the chart weakens, because that's where your entry is. Now through the VWAP, can this hold and move? We shall see. AEMD.
Take us to the trend line.
Cracker Barrel is actually getting beaten up more.
Yeah, let's let it shake out, folks. We don't want to be trying to catch any falling knives. That's Britney Spears' job.
CBRL. I had C. Oh, jeez. Oh my God. Oh my God. Cracker Barrel down 10+% and looks like it's hunting for some new lows here.
This thing was already heavily shorted to begin with. So maybe a squeeze is coming.
And really quickly, sorry, 13. Folks, I did hear from Markets and Mayhem. He actually has some stuff he's got to do today, so it'll just be 13 and I for the entire sesh here today.
And it does look like that even, teaming up with the country music star, Jordan Davis, wasn't enough. So got to get some Kenny Chesney up in there, I guess. GXAI is ripping. Sure enough, it is. What's the reason here? BestGrowthStocks.com issues a comprehensive analysis of Gaxos AI. So a report on Gaxos AI is the reason why it's running.
Please don't.
So let me see if I can pull this up. It's not. Oh, there we go.
None of this looks great here. I'll be honest. I don't like any of this stuff.
So for GXAI, there's the report that it's running on. I just posted it in the chat if you want to read it yourself. Looks like GRO is trying to recover. It seems to have held VWAP. Low is 170, trying to recapture the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. Volume needs to be better, in my opinion, though. PTIX, that put in a new high, 470. And looks like AEMD might need some more time. THAR, the low is 423. That's close to the 200 EMA. Nothing but a lot of selling volume so far today. Let's see if the 200 can provide support.
Check this out. AEMD rejected at the VWAP again. Really did not have the strength to get through that. Tuna here said, don't buy the top. Be sure to wait on this one. It will give a better entry. Got to be honest. Sure looks like that. Here's GXAI. This thing going ham today.
Mm-hmm. And PTIX looks like that's still pushing higher.
Yeah.
So that seems to be a pretty good one this morning. Let me see where this is.
This one probably really the only good play here so far. A good setup. Definitely the best. I missed this one here today. And I'm not going to chase it. That's the last thing I'm going to do.
So for now, I think that for PTIX, 530 might be the area where you see resistance really kick in, or even where the price turn around. I'm looking at a daily chart. That's where the 200 EMA is. I'm thinking that's going to be the spot for today. We'll see. Meanwhile, THAR heading lower down to its 200 EMA, looking for support. GRO trying to get up through its 200 EMA. That's resistance. PTIX, new highs. This thing's still going.
It's just ripping, dude.
Rip it up. APM dropped. It's beneath VWAP. This looks like it could continue lower. Kind of looks like it still has a bit of a bearish formation, like almost a head and shoulders, it seems, on the 5-minute chart from going from the pre-market into the regular session. So we may see some more downside here in APM.
Okay.
So PTIX hitting
five coming.
Five. Okay, 530. That's where
that's your spot. Okay,
that's where I think we'll see a lot of resistance start to kick in with PTIX. So we'll see if that's the case. Yep, hit 499, backed off a little bit. Yeah, VELO. After that first initial trade, this thing is just having an awful time. Coming down to the support area at about 325, though. So we'll see if that stops right there.
That ELPW that you looked into, next leg lower, initiated right now.
Well, I don't think I'd want to touch that.
AEMD, this again might be making another move towards its VWAP. Buying it at the VWAP is not the move. Maybe ahead of the VWAP here is the right thing to do. We'll see if this gets back and tests that VWAP.
All right.
AEMD.
Ready for a little bit. It looks like it was about to go a little bit higher in PTIX, but somebody walked the price down for a moment there. 506 is the high, only 24 cents away from the target I was mentioning earlier. Looks like THAR might be getting some support off the 200 EMA. Its volume is not great, but let's see if it does put in a reversal here.
Okay.
APM heading lower as anticipated. This thing didn't have a great looking chart. If there's going to be any support coming in, with this one, maybe 215 is going to be the earliest level where it gets it. We'll see if that's the case here with the APM.
Okay.
PTIX 511. Squeeze me home.
NVIDIA backed off that pre-market high that we mentioned.
V-Wave has been a great swing trade, says Lambo Rose. Jay Rice also mentioning Walmart near the low.
Yeah, now Walmart reported earnings.
Yeah. How'd that end up going?
Well, I'll tell you what, a 5% down move, that's kind of a big move for Walmart, isn't it? I wonder, we talked about this yesterday and the potential buy spot on this. I think we talked about 97 being one of those spots, 13.
Well, let me look at the notes. I know that we talked about it. So let's see. Earnings tomorrow. Analysts believe it will continue to grow as the company eats into target market share, but questions over tariffs remain on whether the U.S. and China will see trade deals soon. Also, the issue of is that the U.S. passed the big, beautiful bill last month, which will see reduction in SNAP benefits. Keep an ear open for any potential impacts this could have on low-income shoppers. So that's something we were kind of highlighting with what we were hoping to hear out of the conference call. I don't know if that was ever asked by any of the analysts, but the move down is something we were kind of thinking might happen here. there's going to be some support it's coming down to. That's going to be around 95. I would think that's going to be some one of the next areas for support. Maybe even 96. But we did lose the 20-day SMA again. We are trading beneath the 50 as well. So let's see if 95, 96 can provide some support there.
Okay.
Okay, PTIX 513.
I just can't chase that. I'm like looking for
No,
something.
no. I'm not suggesting anybody chase this thing. Not suggesting that at all. Nope.
I don't see anything I like, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm like actively trying.
Well, it's okay. I mean, we're gonna if we're not gonna trade anything, at least we'll have our cash on hand to pick this up on Friday or Monday when you get back. And
yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to force it, but like, I was hoping there was some setup here. I know, and I'm trying to fight it. You're absolutely right about that.
Yes, Smoketon, absolutely. Do not chase these jumps. Yeah. We'll just wait for our setups. You can be patient.
I don't have any.
You can be patient. But PTIX, I mean, 521. It's even there. I'd consider that a pretty good win. It's 9 cents away from the level I was talking about, but at 521, that makes me happy.
Seeing some Palantir calls here. Not huge, but maybe they're buying Palantir on that little pullback there. Ryan's saying that VKTX regained 25. That was one of our levels from yesterday. I haven't looked at that yet here today. Yeah, Bob, it does feel like a pump and dump morning. You're right about that. I just don't like unless I have a really good. I just don't want to even deal with it.
We keep getting GXAI mentioned, and we probably shouldn't be taking this off our screen because this looks like to be one of the best movers this morning. Nothing but green candles, and it just hit 249. Might get a little bit of a back off here, but this looks to be one of the better ones this morning. You're getting a little bit of a bounce.
MBOT. Names. This was one of you folks asked about earlier. MBOT, this ripping out of the open here. Grats if you have this.
MBOT, huh?
Still grinding higher. Yep. Oh my God, day trader, we don't even have 100 likes yet, guys. If that's the case, I'm gonna wake Kevin up and bring him out here. Please hit that like button. Help our algorithm. Help our show. It takes 1 second to hit it.
Well, it looks like MBOT is hitting the 350 area that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, so
right there.
Let's look at the smaller time frame here. See what the price action looks like. So the high print is 353. Maybe it backs off. Well, let's see. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to back off from here on out, or if it's going to try and push higher. Still, quite a bit of consolidation to chew through. Doesn't really lighten up, I guess, until maybe about 375, and there's still a good considerable amount above that. So, I guess the next area I'd be looking for resistance would be 375.
Love this. Love a lot of this stuff here. First of all, here's UMAC. This is looking like it's going to test 10 here. Barack says, only one trade for me so far. Too choppy, boys. Barack, I feel the same way. What are you looking at out there? Big cap, tech is a specific sector. I agree with you. Jay goes on to say the setup, not all that great. You have Powell at Jackson Hole tomorrow and September right around the corner, historically one of the weakest months. Indeed. And one of the other things that I'm kind of thinking about with that as the backdrop, Jay, is where's there a good short entry, right? What's the actual short target? Where should we be buying puts for that move down? And is it too early to do that? Pros are on hold until Powell's speech. SML, it sure feels like that. And to be quite honest with you, it's felt like that a lot this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's great that everybody's, recognizing just how, difficult and illiquid and light that some of this trading is. And the go-to is just to sit on your hands, folks. I think that's great because it means that we're not, getting too risky to the point where we're going to just lose this money. We're not chasing. I think this is just, great trader mentality. Let's just
Yeah.
wait for these setups to come along. We'll trade those, but if there's something that's not looking great, let's not touch it.
Yeah, Barat here says, I'm trading Palantir back and forth. That's awesome, Barat. That's one that you're familiar with, and just back and forth here. We talked a lot about the TQQQ right around the whole Liberation Day, and some of those ETFs really being kind of the best traders to just trade back and forth. So pretty good stuff. Jay said, I sold some September nail call spreads. I should have bought puts, though. Roblox starting to sell again. Sorry, 13.
It's okay. APM just had a big turnaround here, trying to push into some new highs. So a little bit of invalidation move here, short squeezing likely of this.
Oh my God, it's going to halt.
It might, yeah.
It's going to halt right here at 307. Smoke Tuna, dude, you had said wait on APM because it's going to give you a better entry. And it looks like that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
I'm not in this. No position for me.
Just really hard to get an idea of where that entry might have been. Now, there was a bit of an indication that just above 240 was looking pretty good, but it still didn't. It still wasn't trading very well. It was beneath the VWAP volume. I mean, it just didn't have that indication that you needed to pick it up right then and there until it started running. This move just happened in a matter of seconds.
UNH still below 300.
Nice.
13. I'm gonna step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back, buddy.
Sounds good. Got outside, not great, but maybe, hey, well done, Webcoin. And it was, yes, Daniel, absolutely. The APM move was really hard to catch. And then Smoke Tuna, you're mentioning SLQT. When Ryan gets back, we'll have him pull that up. Let me look at it for now. SLQT, that select quote. Okay, I've heard of this. They had earnings today. They are better than expected Q4 financial results, issued fiscal year 2026 revenue guidance above estimates. So here we are with more companies reporting above guidance estimates. That's what you want to see. That's what the market likes. And it appears that this also was kind of bottoming here. Looks like around 170 was a bit of a support area. Trying to deal with its 500-day SMA right now. That value is at 245. We have 243 as the price right now for select quote. That's going to be the level, it looks like, to get over at 500-day SMA. Recent death cross back in May. So we're going to want to see some of this. Let's see here. Looks to me like 275 is going to be a pretty important area to mark off, as that is a support turn resistance, turn support area. If we manage to get above that 500-day SMA, I think we would want to keep an eye on that 275 level as well. And BLSH trending back up on low volume. Good sign, swinging it. I don't know. Let's see what this chart looks like for BLSH.
Okay, sorry. Blush, BLSH or bullish? I can't believe I just did that.
It's enough to make you blush.
So yes, it is.
BLSH. Looks like we had a bit of a reversal candle yesterday. It's trying to recapture some of these levels from earlier this week. Seems to me like around 68. That's going to be probably the biggest resistance level. We opened at 68 on Wednesday last week, and that's when we took it on a run. That was its opening IPO price. So I think that as we approach that, 68 is going to be a big resistance area. That's what I would think based on this. So hopefully that gives you an idea. ARK recently increased their position in Blush. See, now you got me doing it.
It's contagious. Damn.
AEMD. This is starting to get some movement. But to really wrap up bullish. Just keep an eye out what happens around that $68 area. I think that's going to be it's going to be an area that provides some pretty stiff resistance.
Okay, AEMD. So it's still what, 181? I've got 182 in the broker here. It really needs to get through this VWAP. I guess APM just did that on a huge pump. Maybe we get the same thing here on AEMD. Yeah,
because APM is halted right now. So
yeah,
I'm going to think that there's some other some of those traders are moving on to something that's not halted. Might see PTIX go. AEMD certainly another one. Maybe one of the other ones we were looking at as well. Perhaps GRO. I mean, that's been recovering since it hit 170. Still beneath the 65 EMA on the 5-minute and approaching this trend line, but with some upper shadows that don't look that great. So we'll see if the volume can expand, because I think that's the last component here for growth to get it through this trend line.
Yeah, Smoke Tuna saying AEMD can pop. Jeremy mentioning that it's stuck at VWAP. This is kind of what we just saw here. I wonder if this rockets through the VWAP, if it finally has the strength to break. I know we peaked above it earlier, but we really didn't get any follow through. The volume does look like it's picking up here, so that's encouraging. Still, not a guarantee though.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to see like enough volume so that every 5-minute candle, the 5-minute candle will have to be like 3 million shares traded in that time frame.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the price ladder, you can see there are a lot of sellers in this from here up to $2.
Yeah, there's a huge block of selling there at 182. That's what I've got the VWAP at the broker. It looks like it's trying to do it, but to your point, 13, if it just doesn't have the strength to do that, I think this thing's going to pull back.
Yeah.
So
I think we need to see some maybe twice as much volume as we're getting in this current candle. Like I think because out of the gate we had almost 3 million shares traded. I think we're going to need to see something more along those lines. PTIX needs a flush, and Smoke Tuna saying PTIX will knife. There's your warning, folks. Looks like it is starting to put in a series of upper shadows, some wicks on the top there. And we have the VWAP down at 459. It is looking like the volume is starting to slow down, and we did get pretty close to that 530. So, I don't think I'd have a problem with it if it knifing. Just, don't get caught in this thing.
Yeah.
We got pretty close to our target. Yeah, we got pretty close to our target. Take what the market gives you and move on.
APM is open. We can take a look at that here real quick as we wait on AEMD. Here is APM. This is actually trying to go higher here.
Running into some resistance around that 315 area. Yeah, PTIX still having a tough time. Volume has really kind of left this ticker.
Ondis at VWAP. We'll see if Ondis has the strength to move through its VWAP for the first time today. That would be something.
Keep an eye on MBOT. It's still holding above its VWAP. Volume has also kind of left this thing, but it's got a pretty decent setup. So I think it's worth keeping an eye on.
Thank you, Rustam. I do wake up. You guys all wake up too. Okay, AEMD, we're back on the VWAP. Let's see if we end up getting the pop through this.
Yeah, APM trying to chew through that 320 area.
Okay.
It just took it.
Okay, I might have forced it a little bit. I did try a little bit of this AEMD. We'll see. Got to get through this VWAP though. And I'm not going to sit through any pullback. I'm just going to dump it.
APM did print above 320, but it keeps getting pushed back down. Yeah, not sure how much we're going to get out of APM. We could go on a run here. But let me see if, there's a bit of a trend line.
Oh, we're through the VWAP on AEMD, guys. We didn't get a huge pop. There's more like 13. You had commented on this earlier. There's more sellers on that level too. There looks like there's some more there at 184. Boy, they took that. 185 has some too. This is where we really need that volume to come in on AEMD. You talked about this just not long ago, 13. Maybe we do get a pop here and move through this 185, 186 area that's really kind of stopped it.
Yeah, need to see 3 million shares traded in a 5-minute period. I think that's gonna give you the volume you need to get over 190 on AEMD.
And here you go, back up to the 185 there. Boy, that stopped it again at one. Was that the price that stopped us in this earlier candle? That was 186. Okay, so 186, 185, clearly the area there. SPY is reversing. Good call, Joe.
PTIX 540. So we did get up and over that 200 EMA on the daily chart, but it's coming back in. So I think that would be, since it hit my target, since I don't have any in this, but since it hit my target, that would be where I'd be completely out.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to do now, but if a big pull is coming, I don't want to stick around for it.
Okay. Big Bear Hug, do we get the Powell speech live here? Producer, let me know. Are we doing Powell's speech live from Jackson Hole? It's tomorrow, but are we doing it here on this channel? Nice scalp on Ondis, Izzy.
Looks like GXAI is trying to push up towards that 250 high again. Volume is lower than it was before, so bear that in mind.
Really quickly, AEMD, the last time that we peaked above this VWAP here, we actually pulled pretty significantly. This time around, we're not doing that. This makes me wonder if we're consolidating around this area a little bit more before we finally do get that pop that we're kind of looking for here. I guess it makes me a little bit nervous that we're looking for it, but nonetheless, a little bit different action than the last time that it peaked above its VWAP. We'll see if that ends up mattering here or not. Volume still increasing. Would like to see some more.
PTIX pushing even higher, 574 now the high. Just be careful. This is not where you want to start buying. No, definitely not with PTIX. 575 now. That just ticked up slightly higher.
Producer not able to give you a straight answer here. Do we get the Powell speech on Benzinga? Well, does Superman wear his underwear on the outside of his pants? So I'm guessing yes. Yes,
Well,
we will have the Powell speech here.
Most of the time he does, unless he's being directed by Zack Snyder.
Okay.
Did you not watch Man of Steel?
No, of course not. Your reaction is the best part of the whole thing.
PTIX trying to push even higher. Still 575 is the high. Looks like GXAI is trying to get going here. Volume is lower, so just be careful. MBOT also trying to push higher too. Volume not the same. So just be careful with these if you're going to try them.
Yeah, and AEMD pulling back here. Right down to my entry here at 175. If this really starts to weaken up here, we'll just dump it and reweight. Zod, is that the guy from Men in Black? That's Zed.
That's Zed or Z. Yeah, that Zod is the. Oh yes, that's right. He did die, didn't he? I forget his name because he was in a bunch of other stuff too. But the Zod actor from the original Superman with Christopher Reeves, he passed away recently.
Okay.
And then the new the Man of Steel actor for Zod is Michael Shannon.
Superman 2.
Yes, Superman 2. That's right. Yep. That's right. Okay, so PTIX. There we go. A new highs in PTIX, 588. Not going to stick around for that one.
Good job. Just once again, we don't have a whole lot going on out there, but for anyone on PTIX, you guys hit this one. This was pretty good. Would love to see more stocks give this kind of move. You guys are mentioning THAR, THAR. This was continuation from yesterday.
Yeah, it's curling back up, and we do have that trend line. I thought we didn't draw a trend line on this one, but you could draw a trend line on this and get the sense that we could break out of this if we can get above the 65 EMA. That's going to be at 485. So see if we can get up there. A lot of sellers in the way, especially at 477. We'll see if it can get back up there. I'm not confident at the moment. I need to see some other levels get recaptured here. PTIX still printing that 588 high, APM. That's coming back in towards VWAP. But let's see if it can rebound here and push higher.
SLQT grinding to the highs.
That's select quote, right? Yeah.
Yep. GXAI maybe trying to take out that previous high. This did come back into the reload area at 225.
Oh, yeah. PTIX 593.
Seeing some Palantir calls get bought. You guys had mentioned Google was strong. Seeing some puts get bought into that Google strength. Izzy has just literally done nothing but yell about drones this morning. UMAC going higher here.
Excited.
Actually, this is good volume too. This is good volume.
I think I'd be careful with GRO. I don't like those upper shadows it keeps putting in. That can often be an indication that there's just not enough buyers to take out the sellers at 195. far, still grinding up towards that 65 EMA. If we get over that, I think that we may contest the trend line here.
P-Sky here, Paramount Skydance, this moving higher on volume. Yeah, CoreWeave up 3% today. Remember, Core's also up. CoreWeave is up on that upgrade. It looks like Core's is following it. That dip got bought.
Oh, that's an interesting bottoming formation that we have there in CoreWeave. It doesn't really fit the exact definition, but it does have a very similar formation to the bullish TriStar Doji, where it's a 3-day bottoming out formation that looks very similar to this that we're seeing here, especially if today's candle can close as as an indecisive candle. 8 p.m. Just pulled off a bit there. Be careful.
It does kind of look like that TriStar. That's interesting.
Yeah, so we might get a turnaround here in CoreWeave. Resistance that I see here is going to be around 120.
The market is definitely turning around here. Now, I don't think there was necessarily a single piece of news that's doing it, was there? Existing home sales for July, 4.01 million versus the 3.92 estimate.
Well, what's that doing for Rocket?
Rocket is lower today, still pulling back. We did have the jobless claims earlier. I think I talked right over it. 235 versus the 226 estimate. That was a nothing burger in the pre-market.
Well, what I'm getting at is did Rocket reverse or try to turn around off that news? I mean, it looks like it's still, it did have a turnaround at some point, but it's kind of drifting lower.
Yeah, if anything, it looks like it's actually moving lower off that.
Okay. Guess there wasn't a magic number that was hit. Edward's saying that MSOS options look good, and we've been talking about those.
Yeah, we have
for a while. Those it has the potential to do really well with the upcoming return of Congress.
September 2nd.
Yeah, that's when their recess for summer ends, and we're supposed to be getting some kind of progress made on the Safer Banking Act to where some congressional aides believe they'll still get passed this session. The session is going to go from now until January 3rd. Wow, PTIX way past my trend, my EMA. 620 is now the high. So
lost my mouse there for a sec. There
out a little early on that one. That's fine though. Don't want to be caught when it comes in.
When it yanks, it's still a good trade. 13. We'll give you a register ring for that. I missed PTIX just entirely. So AEMD. Gosh bless it. I don't really want to hold this on a down move. Damn.
Redfin put something out about buyers stepping away, and Rocket owns Redfin, I believe. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, or maybe Rocket is pushing for rate cuts. Well, Rocket certainly would be pushing for rate cuts.
Yeah, I think everyone there wants to see rate cuts.
I think the information that you're referring to about buyers stepping away, we've seen some of that information. I think about a week or two ago, we were talking in Hacker about that. Buyers and sellers are just too far apart right now, and buyers are looking for a lot of things to be more turnkey. They just want their home to just be able to be walked in, nothing to fix up or anything. And sellers are just like, no, you take it as is. We don't want to put any more money into this. It's already, and that's that. So the buyers and sellers are just a little bit too far apart, and I guess the idea is lower rates are going to help make some of these sales happen. Also, it's going to help with the builders to build their multifamily homes and other small homes to put more inventory on the market. So, a number of things that are going to happen as a result of rate cuts. And I absolutely believe that Rocket's pushing for that. Absolutely.
Zach says you guys have trading these movers have balls of steel. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm open to something else. I just don't see anything great. And by the way, regarding that MSOS that we were just talking about, I sat on the bid all day and couldn't even get a single contract fill at that 35 cent. It's right now, those same contracts, the October 7s, they're 40 by 45. So they're spread a nickel there, but they were higher than the entry price we were looking for yesterday. Just never got it. ONDS is continuing to go here, Izzy. I'm watching it with cautious optimism, I would say. It is a new intraday high on the back of that contract, so maybe we get some carry through on that. Not day trading that, though. That's an investment at this point. It's been a couple of years now.
I don't want to say that a lot of these aren't going to try and push higher. They certainly could, but we are getting pretty close to the time where volume does leave the market. A lot of these names are already starting to trade like volume is on its way out. Just be careful. Get some, if you need to set your stops. We don't want to have anybody lose any money here today, especially with these movers have been behaving.
Yeah, and if you're going to try some of the movers, I think that especially with the chop, the way we've seen some of these stocks trade, the environment that we're seeing today, maybe lowering your position size a little bit makes a lot of sense. You guys are mentioning, sorry, MBOT. You guys are also mentioning Open, which is at its high.
Okay, so maybe it did have positive movement on Open, that housing news. Seems like that's been going up ever since that print happened. Coming up to some resistance around 340, 345 in Open. Let's see here. Some of these other ones.
UMAX still at the highs. MBOT still at the highs. PGen, this is one that we traded not long ago.
Looks like PTIX is starting to come in a little bit here, going down to where those last resistance was around 520. AEMD, this is beneath its VWAP and 65 EMA support. It got earlier today at 160. I still see 165 as a potential area where it could also find support, but just keep in mind, if we start falling through that, then the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, it could get pretty ugly. Looks like APM is trying to come back from the dead here, or at least try to get out of this sideways consolidation. The high of the session is 329, getting some support from its VWAP, but I don't like the volume. Be careful with all of these folks. Be careful. Looks like they're all starting to weaken. MBOT really pulling. IBM red to green. APM, the big buyer, is back. Okay, cool. Let's see him buy his way through 315.
I got stopped out of AEMD. I lost a little bit there. It is what it is. We'll see if that firms back up, but not looking great here.
Yeah, it's just one of those days.
Yep. At least I tried something.
Mm-hmm.
At least I tried something. No good though on AEMD.
Yeah, we didn't have we had the just 100% runner in the pre-market. Not much else after that, and most of these things are just looking really weak anyway. ESPN launching. Iger is giving a live interview right now on CNBC. ESPN is launching its direct-to-consumer streaming platform here today. It's $30 a month. You get access to all of that content. I'm just curious, does anyone like this? Does anyone like this for Disney, for ESPN, for any of that stuff? To me, this is not something I would pay for. Just wondering if there's anything here. Disney looks like this is lower on the back of this. Nice job, Robert, on your Onda scalp. I'm a believer that Disney is probably got a particular ceiling of how high their stock will go, while there's certain people managing the company and different aspects of the company. So that's just going to be my hot take. It's probably not the case, but I think that as long as some of these people that are at Disney are still employed, we're going to continue to have limits to the upside. Yeah. Looking at the Disney chart right now, this thing has looks like it has a head and shoulders that it is starting to that has already begun to resolve. And if it cannot recapture the 20 or the 50-day SMAs pretty soon, I think we're going to see a test of the 200 come here pretty quickly.
Yeah. Scott saying 30 is way too high for ESPN. Frankly, that's what I think too. Izzy giving us an interesting thought here. Watch Fubo, maybe a move on Disney. Maybe Disney certainly not reacting positively. Fubo basically unchanged here. And boy, AEMD lower. Sometimes your first stop is your best stop.
Yeah. Well done on the stop.
Nvidia and SPY, huge moves off of the support. Carson, you know what, Carson? We should have done what you did this morning. We should have, well, at least I should have. 13, I know you hit a successful trade on PTIC, so I speak only for myself here. Maybe should have stuck with some of those bigger caps. Those actually seem to be getting a little bit better performance than some of these movers here. APM reversing?
Well, if it's the bigger names that you want to trade, they have directional ETFs for some of these that are getting pretty good volume. Like, okay, so for example, what's Palantir doing today? Because we already were talking earlier this week about how great of a trade PLTZ and PLTD would be.
Yep.
Now we're getting we did get a rebound yesterday, and it helped recapture the 50-day SMA. So there could be some upside trading that could happen up into the 20-day SMA. So from here, you could get maybe $14 to change in Palantir. But once we hit that 20-day SMA, we're going to be at where the gap. Well, we already filled the gap to the downside, but we are going to be at a resistance area from when the gap first appeared back in earlier this month. I think that those directional ETFs for these individual names are going to be the way to go, especially Palantir. I think that PLTZ, PLTD.
Unfortunately, Palantir is just kind of a really tight range here. Bharat looks like Bharat's looking at Roblox, so Bharat's venturing away from Palantir here. Got to think Bharat, confirm if I'm right or wrong here, but there's basically no action in this name. Not a whole lot. Not really a whole lot to do in this unless it starts to make a move here.
Roblox wants to break yesterday low. To me, it looks like it wants to break the 50-day SMA, and I would love to see that. And it's just, you look at a daily chart and you see how this thing has just been kind of setting up camp right on the doorstep of 50-day SMA. I think it's going to kick the door in. It's going to invade it. It's this, to me. I think Roblox is going to go down a lot.
Yeah. We had prices in the 80s when we were discussing this yesterday, didn't we? Roblox price targets in the 80s. So that'd be a substantial move down if we get that. Marcus wants to check out Bull.
No, I didn't, Daniel. Sorry. Bull. So this one still looking for that $18 plus print. We got as high as 17.08 a few days ago, back on Monday. Haven't been able to get back above it then. We're getting pretty close to being stopped out of the remainder of my position. So unfortunately, it's not behaving as well as it was previously when we got up to 18 and backed off, and I was looking for another move over 18 that would take us up to 20. Almost got that on this week, but encountered a lot more selling. So I think I'm just going to have to wait and see if we can get back above 15, since that seems to be the big resistance area right here. And if we do get rejected, then this is unfortunately going to probably come back in some more. So this is one of the reasons why I have my stops here on Bull, so I don't lose money. I'm in at 350.
GRO Brazil Potash. This called by Tuna. This making a move towards its VWAP here. 199, maybe that round number 2, maybe a pop above GRO.
Oh, it's almost at the trend line, and it's at that 65 EMA. This is what we were looking for.
So we definitely want to break higher right here. Then you're saying?
Yeah. We want to just shoot over 2.
Yeah. So we want to move through 2 here. Would actually be a pretty decent move in GRO. We'll see if we get it. 199 up. That's your VWAP. They're hitting it.
PTIX might not be done. If it can hold this $5 level, we may see this try and turn around and push back up to 6. Volume's not that great, So it's probably going to be some pretty illiquid moves that do this, but
GRO guys, it took the stock there at the VWAP. I'm sorry, 13. It took the stock right there at 199. There's big size at 2, but as we just said, a rip through 2 might send it here. They refilled the VWAP a little bit there. Okay, they're knocking it down a little bit. Unless this one pulls, this might not be done though. GRO. Smoke Tuna saying PTIX needs to cool down. That makes a lot of sense to me. Maybe a pull to shake out some of those weak hands. Here we go. GRO back up on 2 here. And the size that's sitting out there on the offer, it looks legit and they're hitting it. So they're taking some of this stock, just not enough yet.
So PTIX is, I was just mentioning it because it was starting to reverse and it's looking like it's pushing back up right now. I mean, it may not go on to make a new session high. 620 is the high right now, but it looked like it was starting to get a little bit of a lift. And here we go, getting up back up away from $5. Because I was just mentioning about how the $5 level needed to hold. I got some buyers to step in here and take this thing back up. It went as high as 561. It looks like.
Looks like this bounced off that 9 EMA pretty good. And I'll tell you what, this 9 EMA has actually been pretty good today. That works a lot with some of these stocks that run. G-Man wants to take a look at TEM levels. Smoke Tuna says GRO could see 3 if it gets volume. Definitely needs to do that. Ondis, maybe we see 4 today on Ondis. That would be something.
With TEM... Now, I do have a trend line drawn here that implies there's resistance up around 83 at this stage. So if we do get a big move up, it seems to me like 80 is the big level to get over right now. I'm looking to the left. That's historically a big resistance area. So if we can chew through that and get above it, I think we're going to probably see some 90 prints.
Okay.
80's the big question mark. Can we get above it?
Okay. Good stuff with the levels there. Jay, you were talking about TEM. Jay Rice, you were talking about TEM earlier. Do you have any levels that you're looking for on TEM? And Ray, nice job there on the SLQT trade. Someone asked about Chewbacca earlier. Might as well give that sound effect right now. Yeah, JJ, this is a good question. I don't know the answer to this. Why is the 9 EMA so significant? I've seen in practice it's clearly a significant level, but I don't know the why to that.
9, 15, 65, and 200 seem to work really, really well.
Yeah,
I know there's I'm sure there's an exact science behind it. Like in mathematics, I don't know exactly what that is. But I was, taught to use these EMAs because they work so well for intraday day trading. So
that's the thing. You get taught to use one of these, then you look at it in practice, and it looks like it works. That's just, that's generally how I look at some of these things. Marcus talking about Pew. This is Grab a Gun Digital Holdings. We've traded this before. This decent action here today. I'm not sure I see a trade though.
Look at that rejection and grow right off our trend line.
Yep.
Now it's coming down
to the trend line. Couldn't get above 2.
Well, I have my VWAP down at 186. Let's see if it can get some support down there. Because if it does, and it starts to come back up and test this trend line again, on better volume, we could see a breakout.
So we think the load zone here is 186. Then that's your spot.
Hold on.
Rustam's asking if I have a favorite viewer. No, I like all of you folks that show up here every single day. To me, that means the world. As far as who I highlight, I basically am just trying to highlight idea generation, anything that makes sense, anything that other people seem to be looking at. But you guys are all my favorites.
Well, Michelle, I think you're talking more about EMAs versus SMAs, and we were just speaking specifically on the 9 EMA. But you're right; there's more of a weighting towards near-term price action when it comes to EMAs versus SMAs. That's true. I do understand the math between EMAs and SMAs. I just don't know the significance of the individual numbers themselves, other than I'm sure it has to do with the the changes among those different numbered candles, like 9 candles, 15 candles, 65, given the time frame that they're in.
Jay says, me and 13, us two are his favorite. I tell you what, for someone that's been in this industry for a long time, that means an awful lot, Jay. Always looking for feedback to get it better, too. Lion says, my favorite is 13. Look, I do like 13. I do like 13
I like
quite
you
a bit.
guys.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, 13. I mean, I know you from around the time of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess it hasn't really been that long. It's been, what, 5-6 years? But I like a lot. I think what I like the most, 13, is the way that you approach things. And from everything from individual stock names, just how you research them, what you look into, to everything that you've done with kind of expanding your charting capabilities. Always love it.
I appreciate it.
Sun Life says he's here for 13. There you go, bro.
Yeah, I've been trading. Let's see, this is my 5th year with day trading. Investing, this is like, gosh, 7th or 8th, something like that. Just wanted to mention also TQQQ, since we are talking about the market recovering. This has been this had a really nice reversal, and we're coming up to a resistance area around 88.25. If you look at a smaller time frame chart like the 5-minute, and kind of give yourself a view of today's price action and yesterday's price action and the pre-market as well, you can see that we were leaning on 88.25 as support yesterday, lost it yesterday, tried to get back up to it and recapture it, was rejected this morning at that same area and the pre-market. And after the sell-off, we are coming back up to it again. So I'm looking at that 88.25 level in the TQQQ with concerns about this being a resistance area.
3D says, I'm my favorite, heart size.
Good.
That's awesome. And as far as stock trading, I know, all jokes aside here, as far as stock trading should go, I've said this a number of times. Trust me, folks, nobody out there cares more about how much money you're making than you. Nobody does. So you should definitely be your own favorite trader. And the more confidence you can build up in your own process, I think that's actually going to benefit you very far down the road. I know that my worst trading has happened during times where I just don't feel confident. And in fact, that's actually why you see me pull back sometimes when I don't feel great about everything that's out there. Listen to yourself. Listen to your own risk parameters. That's how you're going to do the best. No question.
Yeah, folks, you should always be looking out for number 1.
I enjoy that 13 sticks to the movers, even there when there's a guest talking about God knows what. Oh, Market Sniper. That's funny.
Well, we talked all about him this morning. I'm not going to just, okay, well, that's the movers. Moving on. No, we gotta trade what's giving us some volume, and usually more times than not, these movers end up being really, really good for exactly that. Not that some of these other bigger names don't do that as well. I mean, certainly we've seen some really big gains being made from the downside on UNH or any number one of these other tech companies like AMD, Broadcom, really big moves in single days we can trade. But for the most part, I just like movers because they tend to be cheap and they move a lot.
Yeah. And, my favorite days are days where I've got, a swing on and it's working and there's not a whole lot I have to do. And then on the side, I'm day trading some of these things that give outsized moves that we don't normally see. That's my favorite type of trading day, when you can day trade a little bit, build up your cash reserves, and then the stuff that you have, the cash that you already have deployed, is also working. That's really probably the biggest confidence boost that I get personally. Can we get a poll on who we hate in the chat? No, we cannot do that, Jay. We cannot bring toxicity in here.
Only if his name starts with C and ends with Amer. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man. Why'd you have to do him dirty like that?
I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
I know.
Looks like APM is trying to make something happen here. 329 is the high of the session, and it's starting to get some volume expansion. Okay, well, here we go. It's taken off. So.
Wow. It's trying to get some volume expansion. Pop to the high.
Okay, and there it is. So
there it goes.
Sorry I wasn't quicker on that, folks. Sorry I wasn't quicker to let you know that there was a move being made. Looks like it's going to try and test
See
that.
what the Twitter
30.
streets have for us. Looks like Ripsters on Google, Palantir, CoreWeave, and TEM today.
Yeah, maybe smoked tuna. Yeah, I think that's worth keeping an eye on here. Or if you think there's a trade about to happen, GRO does look like it's trying to get back above that 65 EMA and come up for another test of this trend line. Maybe we see a break over this. I do want to see that volume expand more. That would make me even more confident about that. But if we can't get that volume expansion, I'm not confident we'll see that breakout. Okay, there's all right. Look, now it looks like PTX finally might be finished. It just had a big pull down to the VWAP. It is rebounding, but I'm not confident that it's going to turn around and make a new session high above 620. I feel like this might be about the time where we start to see PTX begin to break down some more.
This candle looks rough. This looks rougher than the other two pullback candles that we had.
Yeah, so I think if I think it's a good idea to just be careful with PTX or just watch it. It's looking like downside's coming.
Lion says, I can't look at charts because I'm driving, yet somehow he's still typing here. That's dedication. This is what I mean about the community and how much it fires me up. I know it might sound cheesy from the other side of the screen, but trust me. Seeing the same, that's one of the reasons why I love welcoming you folks back. First of all, I want it to, guys, GRO coming back up to that VWAP. It's one of the reasons why I like welcoming you guys here. I like it to feel more like, we were in the same room or we were in a community together. But I just really like seeing a whole lot of that repeat stuff. That tells me that we're doing something right.
Lion, I'm not your dad, but please don't text and drive, sir. We want you, we want you around, okay?
James saying, I wish Ryan and 13 would invite Smoke Tuna. We have invited Smoke Tuna. He has very politely declined, and we don't ever want to put pressure on people. I've said it a number of times. This job becomes the job of trading becomes much harder when you're also on camera trying to host or participate in a show. And look, I mean, I don't want to make things harder for anybody. That's been a common theme that we've had around here. But just know I'm always thinking about stuff like that, James.
Big Bear, that's great. Yeah, don't text and drive, but it's more dangerous than going short on Palantir. That's a good one. Okay, well, here's GRO hitting that trend line again.
So I must have the trend line drawn differently if you're hitting it. If we're hitting it like right here.
Yeah, so
I have it hitting VWAP. I have it hitting VWAP and stopping there. Here we go. VWAP up now, GRO. Let's see if we can get a pop above this 199. Remember, there were a bunch of sellers earlier at 2 that we couldn't take, so we're really going to need to take that entire block down again. And
like I was just saying, it's going to all be about volume. If we do not have it to take out this seller at 2, and then after that 215, it's not going to be much of a party. Got to see a bigger volume than this. And it could just be like some whale comes along and says, "Ooh, that seller at $2 looks nice." Yoink, and just absolutely deletes him.
That would be happen. Sick.
Could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that we need the volume if we're going to go beyond 2. Okay, looks like a lot of these other names are really starting to weaken. Thar, that looks like that's on a course of to lose its 200 EMA on the 5-minute. GXAI also rolling over. MBOT just lost its VWAP.
MSOS continues to rock, by the way. MSOS, really wish I got filled on that yesterday. Those calls that I was looking for, 46 bid. So that's already an 11-cent move higher from where we were trying to get entry yesterday.
And it might be that this cannabis idea could be one of the better trades to happen in September. Just something to keep in mind, since we've already got Trump talking about it. He said we're going to make a decision in a few weeks. Well, that's going to be when Congress comes back from their recess, and with the seasonality of the market being what it is, where it's a lot more bearish in September, it could be that those cannabis names might be the shining light in that darkness.
Shining light in the darkness. How about that? A-Lab on the mover or on the relative volume scanner. Look at A-Lab here. What is the date? Oh my God, this came all the way back in.
8 p.m. It just had that one of those whales just come in and just delete the seller, and it popped up to 372.
Was the seller at 350? Where was the seller? I didn't have it up, so I'm just not sure.
I'm pretty sure it was somewhere between 320 and 330. I'm pretty sure that's where it was. And then it popped up, and now we're much closer to that trend line we drew earlier this morning than before, even though we are pulling back here. Large seller in the way now at 350, but volume is looking better, so he could get taken out. If we go to the top of this trend line, that's going to give us, if it does it in this candle, that's going to give us about 425, 430 as a resistance area. Meanwhile, a lot of these other things are just really coming in. GRO, unable to get through that trend line, did not have the volume.
Yep.
Just didn't.
Didn't get it.
It's the thing that I was cautioning about didn't happen.
ONDS 350 calls for October.
Everything right now that we've been looking at this morning, with the exception of APM, really rolling over.
UNH 320 calls, that's for September 5th. So that's a 2-week expiry on that. Ryan, where can we all meet in the afternoons? JJ, Benzinga Pro, 24/7. We are often active in the chat rooms. We also do the happy hour show, which is a Zoom call from 4 to 5, Monday through Thursdays.
Except because you're going to be gone today.
We won't have it today, yeah.
We'll have our next one on Monday. That's right.
I will still be on the road. I should be somewhere near Ann Arbor at that time.
On Monday?
No, today.
Oh, okay.
When happy hour is scheduled to start today, I should be in or near Ann Arbor by my judgment.
I'm going to take a quick look here at MSOS because I want to see what it's doing. Okay, so 550 is still the big spot. There was also another. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second here. Okay, yeah. 550. We have the 500-day SMA at just under 6. I thought there was a weekly SMA as well. Maybe it's a monthly. Yeah. So there's a monthly SMA at 577. Just some areas that I'm looking at of where we could run into resistance. It looks like a possibility of printing 6, but not closing above 6 is something that could happen this month, maybe next month. Because that 20-month SMA is certainly going to provide some resistance, as it already has on this decline here. It was support back in May last year and June last year, but it lost that support in August.
Really quickly here, MSOS at the highs. I think a $5 test might be coming on MSOS. Jeremy saying the difference between good and great is your entry. That is what I am working on improving these days. Jeremy, absolutely, brother. And me too, frankly. I am definitely trying to get better at making entries where I don't necessarily have to hold through drawdowns or pullback. Timing some of these stock moves can be very difficult, but you can always work to get better at that. I join you in that quest, buddy. And Izzy, Michigan Golf, Ryan, what course? What courses you mean? I'm playing the Orchards, Timber Ridge, and Eagle Eye. I've played the Orchards and Eagle Eye. They're both spectacular. I've never played Timber Ridge.
APM doesn't appear to be finished. It's still holding above 330. Which I'm kind of viewing as a support area now. That one doesn't look good. PTIX still trying to hold its VWAP. I get the sense that PTIX is going to have a tough time here. Maybe it finds support around 420, 425. But I think we're losing VWAP here with PTIX.
Okay.
Yeah, folks, we are past it's 10:43 now, so we are certainly past that time where volume begins to leave the market. So
yeah,
let's not force anything. If something has a good setup, just make sure you've got your stop set if you want to try and trade it. Let's not lose any money here while folks leave for lunch.
And it looks like 638 was the high on that SPY move higher, that little rebound that we got. Looks like that was the high. Iowa Hawkeye Sports says, I'm moving to Michigan this week. That's awesome. Are you moving from Iowa to Michigan? And whereabouts in Michigan? That's cool.
That's right, Izzy. I forgot about Brent. This one was making some moves earlier this morning as well. This one we've traded. I think we traded this last year. Rent the Runway. This thing went on some crazy rallies when we were trading this. Let's see here. Yeah, 2024. Look at that. That thing went from $5 all the way up to 42 last year, just out of nowhere. That was a crazy one. So don't know what the news is right now. They just let's see. They have earnings coming up. Rallies after securing growth capital, lower the debt burden. And this is, I believe, the company that allows you to order fashionable design and designer clothing and wear them for a short period of time and then send it back. It's like renting clothes. Rent the Runway,
Yeah. Real quickly here, Iowa Hawkeyes. Yes, the Grand Rapids area. You're going to be by Izzy. That's really cool. Grand Rapids is beautiful, by the way. Great breweries there. Knights Land says, Ryan, truly appreciate the family vibe and the attention to our desire to be successful traders. Look, my whole shtick is that I'm very similar to all of you folks. No formal training in market, no formal training on Wall Street, not a trust fund baby, didn't have rich parents. And all I'm trying to do, man, I'm trying to better my financial future. Right. And I wholeheartedly believe that anyone can trade stocks. Anyone can be involved in the market. And so what I try to do, because I don't consider myself a market expert, I just try to pass on lessons that I've learned. Hopefully you folks don't have to make the same mistakes that I've made. And believe me, there's been plenty. And hopefully you can do something else to better your financial future. I feel like if let's put it this way, if more people worried less about money, we'd have a happier world just in general. And I don't think that's specific to any person, where they're from, gender, none of that stuff matters, man. If we all felt better about our own positions, I think we'd all be a little bit nicer to each other. And I do my small part to try and make that possible.
Mistakes can be great teachers.
Absolutely.
That would at this point make me a professor.
That's pretty good. We may have to reuse that cartoon. That's pretty good.
Looks like APM still trying. I mean, look, I'm gonna keep mentioning these things and what I'm seeing, but we got to keep in mind the volume of these do not look great. We could get an illiquid move that sends it higher, but unless you have an order ready to go, that's gonna take you're gonna take gains with. I really gotta suggest to be, I don't want to say advice because I don't give advice. I just want to make sure that folks are protecting themselves and not doing anything risky. Even if these look like they're about to take off, don't try to, jump on the train after it's already left the station.
Well said.
Okay, there goes GRO, losing the View app and the 200.
That might be on hold for later until things firm up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tess says, yes, I'd have multiple PhDs. Yeah, I try to look at losing money as a expensive lesson. And that way I try to not repeat said expensive lessons.
Yeah,
Brian says, in 2008, I was new to the market and lost over 250K. Yeah, I'll say this. I've lost plenty, but I haven't lost that much. Lion, let me just ask you one follow-up question. Very, very simple. Did losing that money, did that motivate you to make sure that you learn it and get it back? Because that's kind of how I would have acted. And yes, MSOS did move over 5 there. It was temporary, but it did move over 5.
Yeah, leave the train jumping to Tom Cruise. I mean, hey, that sounds like a great business name, Tom Cruise Trading. We jump
Tom Cruise Trading. I'll tell you what, I watched a little clip on him talking about doing the stunt, the wing walker stunt for that new Mission Impossible movie.
Mhm.
Tell you what, whatever you think about Tom Cruise is neither here nor there. The fact that that guy is out there trying to do stuff like that is wild. I was like nervous. I was getting like the cold sweats and just being nervous, just listening to him talk about walking on the wing of a plane. Just forget it, dude. That's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. A
He is.
question here about hymns. Sorry, 13. Question here about hymns. What do you guys think about buying hymns around here? So we actually asked Charlie about that. This is a support level around here, right? This 41, maybe not right here, this 41, 42 area, maybe even 40 to 42. This is some pretty good support that was prior resistance. So I mean, try it for a trade here, but I think a lot is going to depend on what's going on in this sector, right? A lot of it is going to depend on some of this data that comes out here. Him's definitely a high beta name, so maybe we make a move back to the trend line. And from this spot down here, 42-ish to 57, that'd be pretty sick if you get that to materialize. Make sure, though, if you're going to take this, if you do like the position that we're in here, make sure you have a plan for if this doesn't work. Because if this thing turns around and breaks, I could actually see this going down here to like a 25 handle. Maybe not right away, but over some time. So have a plan for both sides. This is a support area.
We are getting a mention from, I'm sorry, I missed who it was, Mutsinzi, saying there is Google news. And certainly there is a headline here about Google's Gemini for Government offers AI platform to federal agencies for 47 cents. So Google and USGA sign a deal to bring Gemini cloud services to U.S. government.
Mohammed's asking me, Ryan, can you share your screen setup? I'm trying to emulate it on my BZ Pro window. Thank you. So no, unfortunately, we don't have like the sharing capability that you see in Thinkorswim on Pro. That is something that the team does want to move to, but I've got you on this, Mohammed. If you create a new workspace, the day trading preset is basically exactly what I use. So if you just click on this and load it, it will load pretty much everything, including the same scan here. I have a couple of different columns, but you can adjust those on your own. But this screen that you see me sharing 90% of the time I'm here, this is a preset in Pro. All you have to do is launch it.
Smoke Tuna, I could see GRO still coming back later, but at the moment right now, it doesn't look great. I could even see it going down to 170 or maybe even lower before we see it turn around. I don't know where the bottom you're looking for is. I'd love to know. But to me, this kind of looks like it's still a little bit weak at the moment, and it's getting locked down.
Real quick here, looking at the heat map here for the Dow, the Qs, and the SPY. It does kind of feel, just from looking at this map, that the market is in a holding pattern until Powell's speech tomorrow. Remember, we saw consumer staples and healthcare really kind of leading the way earlier in the week. They're kind of leading the way down here today. Tech relatively flat, which is where we were rotating out of. So to me, just kind of looking at this against the backdrop of what we saw earlier this week, it just feels like we're kind of on hold here. We hypothesized that earlier, but I think we're actually, it seems like that's what's playing out. Excuse me.
To answer your question, Mutsinzi, it looks like PTIX is having a little bit of a hard time here with its VWAP. It has just lost it. It being done, it's certainly possible. I think that if we start to lose that 420, 425 area, we're going to have an even harder time with recapturing. But like we always say, keep these on your radar in case they start to show some signs of bottoming going into the afternoon. They do sometimes trade better or come back and go on to make new session highs. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking for trades later on today. And Smoke Tuna, you're saying that 170 area, that's kind of where we're looking for some support. I think we'll get a double bottom of this in this session. Let me know. APM, yeah, that did put in a slightly higher high of 374. These upper shadows, though, I'm just going to exercise caution. I have no trades on right now.
Me either.
I'm okay for right now, and maybe done for the morning.
I'm 0 for 2 today. I got stopped out on AEMD and I got stopped out on GRO, but I mean, I lost peanuts. I think I lost like $130 total today.
Have a great vacation.
Well, that's the thing. Like the last thing I want is to make like a huge mistake here, then spend 5 hours thinking about it. It's just, that's not what we need.
No, no, we don't. But I don't think there's anything I'd like to really get into at the moment. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of opportunity, maybe in one of these directional ETFs, or even one of the TQQ or SQQ trades. There's nothing there right now. I mean, we're pretty much at the VWAP with these. So I have no trades on. I'm not looking at anything right now. I'm just going to be patient and wait for something to set up. So.
IMRX, this up to that 420 area. That's going to be one of those important spots to take a look at. Do we trade and how? Levels for NVO. Ooh. So we talked about this gap recently, didn't we? We are actually in this gap. Yeah, we are. We're at minimum. We're at the border here. Maybe call it 55.5. Levels here are pretty important. 69 is when this gap fills. And it looks like we're pretty much right there. Let me back out on this chart. May have another resistance area in here about 58. But those would be the levels that I would see here. And then you also have a little gap below. So I would trade that against maybe 53.5.
I like those levels. I like, so a little bit more specifically, I'd say, just above the $57 handle, like 57.20. There's also that other one that you mentioned around like 64.25, and then of course that complete gap fill up around 69. I think those levels are pretty good. That's what I'd be looking at as well, in addition to the 50-day SMA.
Cool.
Ray is in all cash, and APM is going higher. It did print slightly higher at 384. Still didn't hit that trend line, even though it keeps trying to shoot for it. Just doesn't seem to have the volume to get up there. Maybe it gets up there later. I wouldn't be chasing any of these.
Tom, thank you. I promise you, I will have a good trip, and we'll see you tomorrow. The show must go on, and we will be back on here tomorrow.
I'll be back. I'm back here with Kevin, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yep. Watch Kevin not show up and 13 just solo it himself. I'm just kidding. Abinay is asking, hi, Ryan. I'm new to trading. Will Thar hit 5 today by any chance? Okay, couple of things here. So number one, I have no idea. And as you become more experienced in trading, you will very quickly find out that in a lot of cases, you won't know either. Sometimes knowing what's going to happen here, very, very difficult. Couple of things that you might want to look for here. So far on Thar, we've kind of put in a double bottom here at 415. So you definitely want to look for some volume expansion. And for those of you that have heard us talk about that and are not really sure what it is, we look back yesterday on Thar. We actually had 2 pockets of volume expansion. The first one was right here when we had this big run up from 145 to 3 and change. Notice here that the volume candles, as the price moves higher, the volume continues to pour in and it multiplies and multiplies. And when you get these big volume, you often get big moves. It can go in both directions. The volume petered out and compressed, and look what the price did. It came back in and then just traded sideways. And then the volume started to expand again, and look what the price did. So, Abinhay, if we fast forward to today, well, we've got low volume. We've got a little bit of compression on the price. We have been given a level here, a downside level of about 415. So as long as we can hold this, to me, the only way to answer your question is to see volume flow in here. If volume flows in here, and maybe we take out this, you had actually asked about 5. If volume flows in here, and we can really get above the, let's see, which area is this? Right in here. This 450, 460 area that's really kind of been stopping us a couple of times here today, I would say yes, then 5 is possible. No guarantee that that's going to happen. And simply buying here and hoping that happens, not an effective strategy. So wait for your indicators to tell you what the stock is going to do. Right now, I don't see any indication that Thar is going to challenge 5 unless something changes.
Yeah. Always good to have a plan about what you want to do with your trade. Make sure you know where you want your stops to be and where you want your profit targets to be, so that you hit them. You want to have them out and ready to go, especially your stops. If you're trying not to lose money, make sure you have a plan. for where you want to the pain to end and where you want the profit to stop.
TEM, who called a possible 80 price earlier? Was that you, 13? TEM looking like it's going to take out its intraday highs here. This has been strong all day. And if you take a look at TEM, the volume has remained consistently higher than it did yesterday.
What I recall saying is that 80 was the resistance area that I'd be keeping an eye on. If we break above it, there's a chance we can go up to 90. I don't know that we'll see 90 today, but 80 is a resistance level that we have not had too many days trading over. And if we can capture that and hold above it, I think that it's going to create some buildup to help lift the price higher. There are some resistance levels on the way up to 90 that we certainly could hit. But if we can get above 80, I think that's a really big step in the direction of going to 90.
Okay. All right. We are about done here for today. Thank you, Kevin. I will enjoy my weekend. I won't be around. I won't be watching the newswire. So if you see any interesting news, Kev, be sure to tweet it to me like you do. You too, Izzy. You guys are both really good at that. Shady, you're welcome. 13, any closing words for the group here?
Yeah, folks, well, I'll be back here tomorrow with Kevin. We'll have a great time. We'll find more of these movers. Hopefully we'll get some more volume out of this market. But when we do, we'll trade it. We'll make some money. We'll have a great time as we wait for Powell to talk. Folks, I'll see you later. Have a great time. Ryan, have a great vacation. I'll see everybody on tomorrow. Take care.
Appreciate that, 13. And I appreciate all you do to make sure that I have coverage so that I can have a vacation. It means a lot to me. Have a great one, man. And good luck tomorrow, everybody, trading that whole Powell thing. I hope that it's profitable for you at this point. I think that's what I hope for the most. Folks, really good stuff here. Thank you for all of the well wishes, Mohammed, 3D, Gary, everyone else that has wished me well here. I promise I will have some fun. Be nice to Kevin. Be sure to hit that like button. They will see you tomorrow. I will see you on Monday. Stay green.